Texas had some good ones too. But the response has been incredible, and the fact that we got lost so well, I don't even think that's a unique effect. Like, we got lost so well, so unified, there's a lot of I think the West, I'll be going down on Friday. First Lady would be taking a trip, and we don't want to get in anyone's way because that's what happens. The president goes, and everyone's around focused on. I don't want anyone to focus on us, but it's possible they could have somebody saved still. There's a lot of areas. It's a big area, and probably unlikely at this point, but there could be. I mean, they're thinking there could be the possibility, but what a tragic situation. A good job, and we'll see you on Friday, and we'll finish out the day here. I think you've been reading a lot about it's a terrible topic when you talk about financial after this, but we have a big country, and we've been doing very well. The tariffs, as you know, are starting to come in at record levels. Tremendous amounts of money are coming in to our country. We never did that before. We're not used to it. We only have tariffs going out. We only adhere to the rules of other nations who charge us tremendous tariffs because we were led by stupid people or people without any business sense. And I'd like to ask God, you could maybe talk a little bit about how well we're doing with regard to the money coming in. And the big money will start coming in on August 1st. I think it was made clear today by the letters that were sent out yesterday and today. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. We will have taken in about $100 billion in tariff income thus far this year, and that's with the tariff, the major tariff not having started till the second quarter. So we could expect that could be well over $300 billion by the end of the year. We don't agree with CBO scoring, but for those who do, the CBO scored tariff income over the next 10 years at $2.8 trillion, which we think is probably low. And sir, under your leadership, we're witnessing.
And they gave us no credit during this last little, the great, big, beautiful bill. I always use the word great. I add that to it because it really is what it is. There's never been anything like it, actually. And I want to thank all the Republicans that voted for it. And I want to, scold the Democrats because they're voting for tax cuts. They're voting for no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, and many, many other things far more important than that. Great health care. And frankly, every Democrat should lose their election because it was purely political to vote. They were told not to vote for it. So think of it. We got 218 to 2. And then with the Senate, we had 50 to 3. Democrats didn't vote at all, not one positive vote, with all of the good things in there. Economic development money, tremendous border money. Now you're loaded up on the border. And I don't think we're going to need so much of it because we had zero come in last month, so I'm not sure how much of it we want to spend. You may think about that. You may actually think about saving a lot of money because the wall's been largely built, and it obviously worked. But you may want to think about that. But so I think it's incredible when I watch the Democrats, and they have standard lines like they had Russia, Russia, Russia. They had the laptop from hell. It all came from Russia. They make things up and they go with it, and they feed it to you people in many cases. And they said, "Here's a line," and I hear the new line is death. Oh, it's death. Everyone's going to die. There's nothing to do with that. In fact, we're saving our country. Death is from allowing 25 million people into our country, of which 3 or 4 are stone cold, hard criminals. 11,888 are murderers, many of them committing more than one murder. That's death, and the Democrats did that. Joe Biden did that by allowing people to come in here just totally unchecked, unvetted, open borders. The whole world was dumped into our country from prisons, from gangs, from mental institutions. We have many people walking the streets, walking in areas that we don't know anything about, that came out of insane asylums. They released the insane asylum population into our country, and it's amazing the job that you and Tom Homan are doing, by the way, on that. But we have to get them out, and we have no choice. We have to get them out, and we are getting them out. So, Pete, you want to tell them about our great military and how well we did with respect to the bombers and the B-2? We had the pilots here 2 days ago, and they were incredible people. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Truly a historic mission. It demonstrated the skill and courage of the United States military. From those B-2 pilots and families that we had a chance to meet, sir, to the fighter pilots, to the refuelers, to the maintainers, to the air defenders who defended the base. What was demonstrated on the world stage was American military might and capability. And it wasn't just Fordo and Esfahan and Natanz that took notice in Iran. It was the rest of the world, that we have a decisive commander-in-chief willing to use these capabilities, which are the best in the world. As the president pointed out, no one else could have done what America did there on that night. And everyone took notice of that. With the one big, beautiful bill, sir, we've got $150 billion additional to invest in Golden Dome and all the other weapon systems and stockpiles and shipbuilding priorities of yours. Another month, another historic recruiting bump. It's not just the Army and the Marine Corps anymore. It's the Navy, the Air Force, and the Space Force, all historically ahead of where they've ever been. So historic spirit inside the military. We had a chance to be at NATO, Marco and I, and see how the world responds to us saying it's time for you to shoulder the burden and take the lead for your continent. That only happens with President Trump leading. And we're proud to be a part of what's going on at the border, sir, with now a fourth national defense area where we're helping get to that number 0 in securing the border. But that mission, Operation Midnight Hammer, reestablished deterrence. It reversed what happened in Afghanistan. You saw the debacle of what Biden allowed to happen in Afghanistan and what that did to our image. President Trump said, with Operation Midnight Hammer, we're reestablishing American leadership and deterrence, and we're proud to be a part of it, sir.
And our so-called enemies were watching. They watched every minute of it. They watched. There was very few people that weren't watching, actually, but they watched every minute. It was a perfect military performance, the likes of which we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, if you compare that to the same country, the hostages from years ago, Jimmy Carter, it was unfortunate for Jimmy Carter. He was a nice man, but with the helicopters going down, the sandstorms, the prisoners, they got captured, then the election and the prisoners and Reagan and all the problems. It was nothing but problems. And that was a failure. And ours was not only the pilots. I mean, those machines flew for 37 straight hours. They didn't stop. They went skedaddle. You know the word skedaddle? It means skedaddle. They dropped the bombs, and somebody said, skedaddle. Let's get the hell out of here. And every bomb hit its mark and hit it incredibly. And as you know, the Atomic Energy Commission said it's gone. That place is gone. We had a lot of fake reporting, mostly from CNN, where the scammer writer, a writer for CNN, who should be fired, by the way, she was involved with the 51 fake intelligence agents, if you remember that. She did that story, created a story out of it. She created a story out of the laptop from hell, saying it came from Russia, but it actually came from Hunter Biden's bedroom or worse. Just a scammer, and she's still at CNN, which is pretty amazing. But we'll ask you a question about her. But they came up with this concept that maybe the attack wasn't that good. And I saw it happen right after the attack. I saw this person on CNN. I like to watch the enemy. You learn from the enemy. And I watch because you have to know where they're coming from. And I watch you say, Anderson, I'm hearing stories that maybe they didn't hit their target. Maybe it wasn't that good a hit. And they were hearing stories. The next day it was a little more, and the next day a little more. She was saying, I don't know. I don't think it was that. Except by that time, everybody knew it was hit perfectly. The evidence is in the planes. The evidence.
What the hell are y'all watching? Good morning, everyone. I'm Mikey Famine, one half of the Headliners. Tim will be with us shortly. He's currently fighting the combat sloths that work over at the DMV. So he'll be with us momentarily. Who up in here? Diz, Billy, Chrissy, Dark Lord Greg, Unquiet Badger. Okay, I think that's it. And if you're out there and I didn't say your name, hit the button, subscribe, say hello. I just subscribed, say my name, dumbass. And I'll be like, fine. Name calling is not necessary, but yeah, welcome. Darren, what's up? Whew. Man, I've had a busy, sweaty morning already. I imagine this fool is not gonna make that any better. Hey Kate. Russell, what's up? Oh, can we go back to watching Flippity Flip Fajitas? See, this is why the Wednesday show is so important.
A heater.
It's so important for that exact reason. We have to cleanse the palate, or we will go insane. Forgive my. You guys can see it now. Oh no! But StreamYard said that there's some sort of problem going on when people use the digital background. So I will be naked. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This has never been seen before. No one's ever seen this. My whole gimmick, my 7 years of gimmick of only drinking out of things that are green. Looks like you're inside a tent. Yes, I could be anywhere. I could be right behind you. Yeah, I bought I was looking at all the different options for like green screening, but then I needed like a big option. So my big option, if you guys remember my old apartment, that's my graffiti is still there. That's my Dundee Award for hottest in the office, in case you guys were wondering. But yeah, my green screen is quite expansive. So I can I got a huge piece of vinyl and I wrapped half of my office in it. Therefore, I don't have to worry about angles and all the different kinds of lighting. I got the whole room green as far as the camera is concerned. So usually pretty easy for Mikey still like Glastonbury. God damn. Glastonbury sounds like the opposite of what I like to do. Like I would love to like go listen to a lecture from my favorite like rapper. Like that is way more fun to me than 1 trillion people in a 2 parking spot sized venue, just stacked on top of each other like plankton. Like the old school streamer. Like okay, yeah, we're taking it back to the 2021s. Oh, that's when I got most of my hours in. I used to stream every day. Most of the time, it would be like 2 or 3 times a day, and I still work like 50 hours a week. It was crazy. I guess I'll keep watching this until Tim gets here. Here we go. Hey, I grew up in the city. We did not have no damn tents. Okay.
Pilots are their best evidence, but they actually came out of their plane because they were here the other day and they said, it was so sad. We did such a good job. We flew into very dangerous airspace. I'll never forget, we were in the Situation Room, and they said
they thought he thinks Iran was going to shoot down those guys that are 50,000 feet up.
They have entered Iranian airspace, and everyone took a deep breath because they had more missiles pointed at them, but the equipment is so good, it's stealth, way up in the air, and it was stealth, and they went right through that, and they sort of, by the time...
That is what the plan was, but I rent. When we buy, yes. my office, my studio will be green. The whole thing will be green. It'll be like one of those monochromatic spaces. It's gonna be great. I love it.
The time they found out they were there, they were already gone. That was the word skedaddle, get the hell out of here. But they were right in the most dangerous airspace in the world, and they took those big, beautiful, very fast.
Isn't our airspace the most dangerous airspace in the world?
They're unbelievable planes. I mean, they become really
better than us,
beautiful
apparently.
works of art.
Oliver Brown, what up, what up, what up?
Were cool, but now they look better than
Sarah
just
Davies,
cool,
hi.
don't they? Huh? But they dropped the loads, and literally they would hit. If you look at this table from here to there, they had a half a refrigerator door is the way to best explain it. Take a refrigerator.
What the fuck? Yo, he is not.
Just cool, don't they? Huh? But they dropped the loads, and literally they would hit. If you look at this table from here to there, they had a half a refrigerator door is the way to best explain it. Take a refrigerator door, average size, cut it in half. That was the
Now, is this the vertical split? Is this the up down? Like, what is this? Wait, everybody's refrigerator door is not the same. So which is it? One of them rich people refrigerators where you can like push the button and then it becomes like translucent and you can like see your food. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that? Have y'all seen that? It's crazy. You could look into the fridge by pushing a button. It's crazy. But half a fridge door, the official measurement here over at the Bin Podcast Network.
their target. They hit every single one. Then we had 30 missiles, Tomahawk, shot from submarines 300 miles away. Every one of them hit their target. It was a perfect mission. Then they came back almost 37 hours. Every plane worked perfectly. The mechanics were here too. I said, you got to get the mechanics here. We didn't have.
You just said that they didn't get hit. So why would the mechanics be like, oh my God, we got to fix the wind that hit the plane? It went through some clouds. It's all wet. Get the paper towels. Easy guy. This is strawberry kiwi pear, I think.
Have any problems. If you remember, they had a lot of problems with the helicopters, but they did.
Yeah. A mini fridge? You talking about the mini, like the ones you keep in the office, like over here, sits on the desk sometimes? What kind of fridge are we talking about? Be Pacific.
Fly through a dust storm, which they shouldn't have done. Sometimes you say, let's go back and try it on a nicer day. Dust and sand don't work well with helicopters if you know much about helicopters, but that was a horrible embarrassment to us. Then we had Afghanistan, which I think was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, and we would.
That was his idea. He said, he said, fuck our friends. We're out of here. You guys are on your own. That was your idea. And then Biden had to do it.
Have gotten out. I was the one that got him down. I would have kept Bagram, the big air base, which right now is controlled by China, among the most powerful runways in the world. Thick with concrete and steel. Anything could land. And right now, they were 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear.
Man, he is over here trying his damnedest to remember everything from that military briefing from like 3 weeks ago. And he is just grabbing random shit and just slathering it together.
Weapons. I was keeping it. Outside of that, we were leaving, and I would have been out faster than them, but we would have gotten out with strength and dignity.
He just said we're not supposed. Oh my God. Yeah, Biden, he left. You know, that's a big stupid fucking
heater.
Oh shit, Rob.
Don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Biden didn't know what the fuck he was doing. But also,
After that, we were leaving, and I would have been out faster than them, but we would have gotten out with strength and dignity. Instead, that was the most botched up mess I've ever seen. They left all that equipment behind, and every year they have a parade running down some third-rate street with the equipment. You know, it's supposed to be Fifth Avenue. It doesn't work. But with all that equipment that they left,
what is he talking about? Yo, it's supposed to be Fifth Avenue. What the fuck? Yo.
don't know, I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers.
Oh, Gina, what's up, girl? Where's the uppity women?
Those uppity women now.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, I don't understand. My little girl is screaming in there.
Where China makes its nuclear weapons. I was keeping it. Outside of that, we were leaving, and I would have.
China makes their nuclear weapons in Afghanistan? Come on, man. Y'all not even trying to like rein him in no more. He just be saying shit. But I don't know why YouTuber asked my question. Who got asked a question? This should be all right. Oh, what? Yo, don't make that. Those are the YouTube bots, not my bots. So yeah, they're certain things they get a little upset about.
Been out faster than them, but we would have gotten out with strength and dignity. Instead, that was the most botched up mess I've ever seen. They left all that equipment behind, and every year they have a parade running down some third-rate street with the equipment. You know, it's supposed to be Fifth Avenue. It doesn't work. But with all that equipment that they left, they should.
So they're having a military parade, but they should have a military parade like we do over here in the States on Fifth Avenue, which is in the wrong fucking city. Dumbass. You live in Washington, D.C., not New York. Pennsylvania Avenue, you mean? Dumbass, not Fifth. Brother, you don't live there no more. You're like a dog with that, like a dog. Like if you move and then like the dog gets out, but then the dog tries to like run back to the wrong house. You don't live in New York, man. Not for another couple years, remember?
have taken every ounce of it. I was taking every. I said every screw, every bolt, every nail you take out of there. And Millie said, I remember one time, sir, we're better off leaving the equipment. Why? Well, it's cheaper. I said, cheaper? You mean it's cheaper to leave a $150 million airplane rather than flying it into Pakistan or India or someplace, or just flying it straight home? It's cheap. Yes, sir. That's when I knew he was an idiot. Didn't take long to figure that one out. But they left all that equipment, but they left their dignity behind. It was the most embarrassing moment, in my opinion.
Yeah, your dignity. You hear that, armed services? Your dignity got left on the field.
In the history of our country. Not that we got out. We should have not been there, but that we got out the way we...
Okay, which one is it, dog? Are you wanting to be there, or you would have got there and left first? Like, what? You need to pick a struggle. Question of sanity. How you doing? Winston, how you doing? Like, you need to pick one side if you're going to be complaining about the sides.
We got out with great embarrassment and death. You had 13 young people. I've gotten to know their families very well, but you had hundreds.
Is he here? You can take a minute if you need to. Oh, yeah, you are all muted and shit. Come on, Tim. Come on, Tim. Come on, Tim, you muted, dog. Yeah.
I am muted. How about that?
There you go. Hi, Tim.
Hi.
How was the Dimva?
There's an old, I think it's a Jim Gaffigan joke that, like, whenever you go to the DMV, they should punch you in the face as soon as you walk in the door, so the rest of the DMV doesn't seem so bad. That's what's going on.
I have excellent experiences at the DMV, but I am an over prepper. So I show up with 37 copies of everything.
Well, here's what I had to do, right? I had to change my registration.
Yeah.
I had to change the address on my registration and then renew my car's registration. And those are two different forms.
That's two separate things. Yep. See, yep. I should go work at the DMV.
And
I could help.
And I had to pay a late fee for not renewing my registration on time. So
7 days late. That's going to be an additional $25, Mr. Bristol. Are you going to be paying by debit or check?
But luckily, I learned that our car registrations are now 3 years instead of 2 years because of COVID. So we get an extra year.
I get to register my car as an antique in a year and a half.
Ooh. I was never able to register the food truck as an antique. It was built in '99.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you should get the lacquered plates, the ones with the little patina on there. They're a little off. They're off white and they have brown letters here in Illinois. I'm like, yeah, but I'm gonna have that on a fucking Mitsubishi, and everybody can kiss my ass.
So you guys are watching Trump? What's going on over here?
Yeah, buckle up, Buttercup.
Of people killed that nobody talks about yet. The other side.
Right now, he's whining about how Biden pulled out of Afghanistan wrong, and how he would have did it faster, and he wouldn't have gone there in the first place.
He's the one that wanted to do it.
That's what I said.
He's the one that was like, "We need to get out of Afghanistan by this day at this time."
And the Taliban was like, "Cool, see you guys in one day after that."
Yeah.
People were killed. Many people are walking around with no legs, no arms.
What car is it, Mikey? It is the best car ever made, a 2007 Mitsubishi Outlander.
From that whole thing, they left from the wrong airport. They should have left from Bagram, because Bagram was a big base with hundreds of miles of fencing and territory around it. Nobody would be able to get near it.
Whoa.
And they left. So, we've done.
Hold on a second. Did the camera just reveal something that Mikey Famine just caught with his weird autism brain?
Base with hundreds of miles of fencing and territory.
Watch his left eye.
Around it.
You have cataracts.
Oh, he does have the cataracts. He looks like my dog.
That's why you don't wear glasses.
He can't see.
You blind bitch.
Nobody would be able to get near it. And they left.
Or it's a fake eye and that's a robot.
He's got a glass eye.
It's Terminator eye. It's fucking hard metallic surface from the inner plate reflecting back.
If Trump is a Terminator, he's the worst Terminator ever.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
So, we've done a great.
How old is an antique and what benefits does it get? It's 20 years, and then I don't have to do emissions tests anymore. Which my car always passed, by the way.
Yeah, they're like, your car is so old, we don't care if it pollutes.
Yeah, it doesn't. Compared to what we got going now, your little baby ass engine is just fine. I got a V6, which is what they're trying to fuck it. Oh, you know what they're putting? Look at that, Tim. Sorry, guys, we're talking cars here for one quick tangent. The brand new Ford Explorer ST 2025. Guess what engine's in there?
I'm gonna say 4-cylinder.
4-cylinder turbocharged.
Wow.
They're pumping in fake engine noise. Me and my buddy are always talking shit to each other, especially about cars. He's a mechanic for Ford. And I'm always giving him shit. And he never wanted to call my SUV a truck because I would say my truck. He's like, you don't have a truck. I was like, I have a tailgate. It flips down. Like I got the hinge, like the hatch, but I got also a tailgate. I'm like, fuck you. That's a truck. He's like, is it rear-wheel drive? I was like, if I'm going backwards. So then he gets this fucking SUV. So then he gets the Ford Explorer ST. And I found out it's got a 4-banger. And I'm like, car. You're driving a car. Sorry.
That's funny. The wife has a WRX, a Subaru WRX. And it sounds yeah. It's got that air scoop.
Delicious intake. It's the sound of a WRX is equivalent to the look of a Shar-Pei.
Yes, that is.
I just want to smush the little.
Did you know that everyone who owns a WRX is in like a secret club where they all wave at each other on the road?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I'm also in a club, but I'm not going to tell you about it.
Yeah, well, I know what club you're in.
Minis Unite.
And I think people are really starting to see it. They're starting to appreciate it. Pete's done fantastically. That mission was a work of art. And I have spoken to some of our perceived. I don't know if they're enemies, but they're perceived as being potential.
What do you mean you don't know? You're on TV.
He doesn't know anything.
Don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers.
You gotta know something.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He just doesn't.
Enemies.
I don't even know what this is about. Texas flood recovery. What are we doing, y'all? What is
And they
this?
essentially said the same thing. Very impressive. There wasn't a thing that we didn't lose an engine. We didn't lose it. Just they landed and they were cheered. But the sad thing was they were cheered, and one of the pilots said, "You know, we were a little concerned because when we got out, we were told that on television they were reporting that we may have missed our targets. Sir, we hit every target. That's what I do for a living. We hit every target."
No one said that.
No one said that.
And they definitely knew whether or not they hit their target better than some shit poster on Twitter. They were not worried. Oh man, I thought I really did see the fucking camera on the bomb go into the facility, but man, maybe that guy on Twitter is right. Like, what the fuck?
In fact, when the bombs hit, a yellow haze came over the horizon that I've never seen before. It just lit up the whole horizon, brighter than the sun. It was like looking into the sun. He goes, "We hit,"
which he has done before. Now that he is speaking from experience. If you guys remember the eclipse, the total solar eclipse that was going over the U.S., and dumbass was out there like, just peek real quick.
a target, because you know what that was exploding. And but they were a little downbeat because they listened to that fake CNN reporting and the fake New York Times. They worked together to try and say that it wasn't perfect. They couldn't say they missed. All they could say is maybe it wasn't perfect. And you ought to fire that reporter immediately. You should fire her. Real fake. And so I just want to.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
He doesn't know.
Lord have mercy.
Congratulate those pilots. And, you know, a lot of people don't like bringing
Texas. You're here for Texas.
No, that's not what he's here to talk about, Mikey. That's not what he's here to talk about.
For fuck's sake, Texas.
He doesn't care about that stuff.
It's over here just waxing poetically about the Middle East. Texas. America first, dumbass.
I always like confronting, because otherwise the public doesn't know that you're a bunch of crooked people.
What was it? Oh, he caught himself. What'd you say? Look at the bunch of disgusting.
Oh yeah, they told me not to say fuck words.
Pilots, and you know, a lot of people don't like bringing things like that up. I do. I always like confronting, because otherwise the public doesn't know that you're a bunch of crooked people. But
they don't know that you're a bunch of motherfuckers. That's what he wanted to say.
Oh, what happened to free speech? Dark Lord Greg. Here, I'm gonna do this for Greg. Here you go, Greg. That penguin stares into my soul. Trump evades death and Texas. For Texas, get it? My exes live in Texas. One of them. Isn't that slander? Yes. Always.
And the media has to straighten out their act. You know, the media is down to 17% approval. You got to do a little better than that. It's important for the country that you.
Hey, yo, Tim, start up a poll in the chat. I would like to know what our approval rating is from the people watching. How dare him say that we're at 17%?
Us? What's our approval rating?
Yeah, what's our approval rating with the people in here? We should put up a poll so people can give us our approval rating.
All right, hold on 1 second.
Maybe a letter grade, S through pineapple.
S through pineapple. Let's see. Engage your audience. Start a poll.
There are India Star, 15 British pounds. Donation towards the Bin Podcast Cold Drinks Fund. We're going to put it in a mini fridge. In a refrigerator door sized mini fridge. Thank you very much, Darren. Appreciate you, man. Scott. Damn, man, we got pineapple already. Wait for us to make the poll. Just over here, just yelling at. that pineapple does not count. It is not on the right form. You have to go back and fill in box 23B7. And then that's a DMV joke.
Do better. I think they ought to make a lot of changes. I think changes are going to be made to the media, but it's hard to have a really successful country if you have a corrupt media, and we really have a corrupt
All engaged.
And nobody really knows why. I mean, why would you want to have open borders and criminals pouring into our country? Why would you want to have men playing in women's sports, transgender for everyone? You know, you'll have to figure
Transgender for everyone.
But some of you don't. I mean, I'm looking at some people, they love the country, but I look at other people and they can't. But we're really proud of our military.
Yeah, I love the country so much, I pay my taxes. How about you, Trump? I don't commit crimes. How about you, Trump?
It was, and the people that maybe don't like us or want to play games with us, because I think that had you not had the situation in Afghanistan, I don't think Putin would have gone in. I think when.
And we're back to Afghanistan. Holy shit. Texas. Texas. Texas is best. Woo. I don't know. I made that up.
Putin looked at how stupid.
It is not best. Missouri is best. And then Illinois, and then probably Connecticut.
And incompetent that operation was. He said, wow, this might be a chance.
Okay, Hawaii beats all of us, but never mind.
And we're dealing with him now, too. We're not happy with Putin. I'm not happy with Putin. I can tell you that much.
Oh, he's freestyling, and now the Putin chapter is coming up. I think he's still going to kiss his ass. What you think?
For sure. For sure.
You know, a little...
He's already kissing ass.
Daddy Putin, take your shoes off. I'm ready to kiss your toes.
Right now, because he's killing a lot of people. And a lot of them are his soldiers.
Sucking
His
us
soldiers
dry
and their soldiers, mostly. And it's now up to 7,000 a week. And I'm not happy with Putin. Okay. Any questions? Yes.
Oh, that was so quick. That was so quick. Oh, shit. That was fast. Hey, and then we're off. Okay, what else?
So you're not happy with Vladimir Putin. Is there anything that you plan to do to act on that feeling of unhappiness?
Yeah, what you going to do about it?
Don't we want to have a little surprise? You know, one of the things we did with the attack is that...
you told everybody?
You asked that question. I didn't mean to be rude, but I'm in a rude because I'm looking at some of these crooked people up here. So I'm rude, but your question was asked very nicely. But one of the things we did is we
Sorry, I got distracted by something shiny. Let me try to remember what your question was for the next 45 seconds.
Went over every fact. We wanted to get every fact straight. We wanted to have the distance straight, the number of pilots straight. Everything had to be correct because this was a very important mission. If we failed on this mission, it was beyond the war that, obviously we had with Iran and Israel. A lot of hatred, a lot of years and years of hatred. Centuries of hatred. People have never seen anything like.
Israel hasn't been around for centuries.
Yeah, no. They've only been around since the end of World War II.
Technically, they haven't had 1 century yet. So
off and on. But like, the modern country of Israel was like what, 1948?
Yeah.
If I'm wrong in the chat, correct me, but I'm pretty sure it's just after World War II that the modern country of Israel became a thing.
No, but they've been fighting for thousands of years.
Right. No, that's true. They have.
No, I'm saying since 1948. It's been thousands of years.
It feels like it's been thousands of years since like 2020.
Yeah.
So the 2016.
That is what happened.
There's like a time dilation with Trump. It feels like for every day that passes that Trump is president, it's been a month.
Yes, January had 700 days in it.
Aha, I was close. I said 1948. It was 1947.
There you go. You were off by 6 months. Get out of here.
So we wanted to be correct with all our facts. So, what I was doing is just asking, it would be great
Correct
if,
with all the facts
if,
for hundreds of years.
if the media would be correct with their facts. That's all we ask for. So, go ahead. So finish it up.
Oh, yes. Just sort of turning back to Russia, if there's anything that you would signal
I
about
won't be telling you. Sorry, I didn't mean that.
your displeasure with them.
Well, look, I'm very unhappy with them. There's no reason for this. It's turned out to be tougher, but it's only tougher. And I will say the Ukrainians were brave, but we gave them the best equipment ever made. We gave them the anti-tank busters that knocked out tanks. I mean, you just aim them in the direction of the tank, and the tank is gone. We gave
That's not quite how it works, but sure.
No, you don't even have to fire it. Just point it at it. Generally, tank gone.
You just look at it and the tank explodes.
No, it's like the fucking snap Thanos style, just fucking withers away into ash.
missiles, the latest and the greatest. They were able to shoot down a lot of things that would have normally wiped out. Probably would have been a very quick war. It would have been a war that lasted 3-4 days. But they had the benefit of unbelievable equipment. And Europe gave them to. We gave them far more because Biden shouldn't have done that. He should have equalized.
Oh my God! Get a room.
We should have given them the same, or we should have given actually less than Europe. It affects Europe much more than us, but we're in there for over $300 billion. Europe's in there for over $100 billion, but still, Europe gave a lot.
No. It's
So
like 118 us, 130 Europe. Like, nice try, dude.
I have a correction of a correction.
Yes.
Wikipedia says the country of Israel was founded May 14th, 1948. So I was correct.
Oh,
Those uppity women now. Like to choose, will split people on.
Tim
Say,
said,
oh, you think you about that? You think it's a game?
So if you think you're better than Wikipedia, come at me, bro.
"You're a Wikipedia."
And I will say this, the Ukrainians, whether you think it's unfair that we gave all that money or not, they were very brave because somebody had to operate that stuff. And a lot of people I know wouldn't be operating it. They wouldn't have the courage to do it. So they fought.
Yeah, someone might have bone spurs.
Very bravely, but we gave them the best equipment in the world. We make the best military equipment by far. There's nobody
gave them
close.
our
You look at
old
other
stuff.
equipment from other countries, it's not even close. That's why everybody wants to buy our equipment, and that's why we're going to step up these contractors now that make it, and they're brilliant, but they make it too slowly. And we have to step them up, Pete, and let them make it at a much higher rate. Unfortunately, we have to do.
You know who's really hurting right now, Tim? The arms dealers. That's who we really
They
need
are.
to invest more money into, Pete. Is we really got to fucking get these weapons manufacturers some fucking. Can we get them some support? I mean, they're cranking out all the bombs on Earth, but if they could just do it faster, because that's the peace I'm trying to get. You know that Nobel Peace Prize I'm trying to get. Hey, crank up the. Hey, turn up the bomb factory to 11. So I can
You know,
get the Peace Award.
if there's an industry that's really struggling right now,
How are they
it's
going to keep the
fucking
lights
Lockheed
on?
Martin.
How are they going to keep the lights on, Tim?
Fucking, they're really hit up for their fucking $35 million aircraft that don't even fucking work. So
I mean, you can't weld in the dark.
that fucking Pete Hegseth is just dropping into the ocean whenever he feels like it.
Can someone please think of the arms dealers?
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Arms dealers.
What kind of
But if you look at our Patriots, if you look at our Tomahawks, if you look at our, what we do with tanks is you wouldn't want to be driving a tank. You would feel nice and secure. But
Can I just
javelins?
make a brief comment about the Tomahawk missile that we've been using since like the 1980s?
Yes.
It's not a smart weapon.
Came out with the Tomcat, F-14.
Right. It's not a fucking smart weapon. It's a cruise missile they fire from ships. They just aim it. It doesn't like aim itself. we've been using it for like just broad bombing since
And
the
they're-
80s.
And they're better served on helicopters.
Like, you ever see a fucking Tomahawk cruise missile fire from a ship? Man, that thing ain't fucking really aimed. You just point it.
It's going that way.
There's no fucking computers in that thing.
That's why you do a dive bomb.
And when Trump's talking about like what we do with tanks and all that shit, our tanks, the Abrams tank, and maybe a few other kind, like I know the Russians have a tank that's pretty advanced too. That's like peak of the fucking tanks, right?
Yes.
Everyone else, unless we're sharing weapons with countries like NATO countries, everyone else is like, their tanks are like, they don't have the armor that our tanks have. And therefore, tank busting weapons against those tanks are very unsophisticated.
Doesn't have to be.
They're like, it's just a Stinger missile, right? A Stinger missile will do it.
I think those for the mostly the air, but like the javelins and the Jokers
Yeah.
stuff like that. The set it and forget it kind of rocket launcher.
A shoulder mounted, either laser guided or wire guided. That's pretty much the pinnacle of tank busting technology.
Or when the U.S. cut off all the javelins that we were sending, they just used drones. It's the same effect.
Yeah,
it's not a person to get an ordnance onto the top of the tank. That's
right.
So they just use drones instead.
It's not like we're in fucking once again. I think that Trump thinks in terms of like old wars.
Yes.
It's not like we're in fucking World War II and you got a fucking shoulder mounted rocket that you have to literally point at the tank.
He saw Saving Private Ryan, and he's pretty sure that that's what's going on over there.
Sticky bombs.
He's pretty sure that's the same thing.
Like,
you got the doughboys going up the beach.
I've never seen such. You just point it and the tank disappears. Like, yeah, but the tanks they're shooting at aren't very sophisticated,
and most of them were barely fueled.
Like, Russia was in the beginning of the war. Russia was putting out all of its old Soviet era tanks to get rid of them. They weren't trying to like put out their top of the line tanks. They were putting out their Soviet area fucking T-70 tanks that aren't computerized in any way.
God, it's all manual.
They were putting out all their crap first. We have an entire desert full of Abrams tanks that are just sitting there.
That's for New York.
They're just sitting in the desert, rusting away because we've made too many of them. And now our military has $1 trillion budget to do God knows what with. To make more tanks that we're never going to use.
Yeah. Who needs a future when we have all these tanks?
How many tanks did we give to Ukraine? Like a handful, right?
Maybe. I have to check with Mark, but I don't think we sent a ton of vehicles. I think it was mostly just the arms.
Right. We could have sent over like a whole fucking tank battalion.
That's expensive.
But we're not using them. Nobody's using them.
That motherfucker, yo, you know how heavy a tank is? And you want to send 50? I can't just put that bitch in the mailbox. I gotta fucking I gotta put them on a train, and then I gotta get that train all the way over to the docks, and then I gotta load them all in the ships, and I gotta float that. Nah, dog, no.
And Billy's right. We have acres of redundant B-52s.
Yeah,
just sitting. There are airplane deserts, airplane graveyard deserts of modern aircraft that are just not being used.
I want one. I want to live in one like it's actually the apocalypse. Well, there you go. When the apocalypse kicks in, I'll just go down there and just like put up a little welcome mat on the front.
They'll just lose them off the side of the boat.
They might fall off the deck. You're right.
There are no. Once again, we don't need a giant navy. There has not been a major naval engagement since World War II.
We need some recovery submarines.
Yeah,
Go get our fucking planes.
We don't need a massive tank units anymore. I think we won the last major tank engagement in the Gulf War when we made fucking scrap out of the Iraqi tank military and took no casualties.
Weren't they using the old Russian ones?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, our tank technology is so far above what most other countries have, unless we're giving it out, that it doesn't even matter. And plus, I don't know if we discussed this on the show or not, but the Ukrainian military has really sort of changed the way that wars happen because their use of drones in combat is like changing what ground war looks like. You know, they're taking out all these targets with the drones that they're starting to make themselves. We don't even need to send them the drones anymore. They're making them themselves.
Yep.
And that drone attack they did out of the trucks was like a year's worth of planning, but no one even thought that that was a possibility until they did it. So you don't fucking need tanks anymore. Armored personnel carriers, probably.
Right.
But yeah, tanks are fully outclassed. It's not even worth building them, but we have to because we have $1 trillion and we don't know what we're going to spend it on.
Not just the drones, but the gamification of warfare with the soldiers. Oof.
Yeah.
Can we all just relax? Everybody calm down, reverse course, and sit down. Stop invading shit. Stop oppressing motherfuckers. We're trying to get to Star Trekville. We ain't going to get there.
Well, even the Star Trek people, they had to get through, I don't know, World War III or whatever, right?
We could just say we already had it.
I mean, when Zephyr Cochrane built the first warp engine, it was in the middle of a war. Just saying.
God damn. They were making B-52 jokes. Yeah, rock a lobster. Well played. Oh, God, he's still talking.
And I gave them the javelins. Remember they said Trump gave the javelins and Obama gave them sheets, right? They called Obama at that time. Barack Hussein Obama, if you haven't heard.
Oh, my God.
God, give it up, Trump.
That was a war that should have never happened. And a lot of people are dying. And it should end. And I don't know. We could.
Trump is just not that into you, all right? Like, dude.
My favorite part about Barack Obama is that interview he did, or maybe it was a talk he was doing, where he said that if he had ran for a third term, he would have won and he would have fucking toasted Trump. He would have ran the guy over in the polls. And like,
it would have been easy.
It would have been easy. But yeah, Obama's fucking over it, man. He's on to like his chill phase.
The people of America have spoken. It's clear. Indirect. He's like Kermit Luther King. Like, that's the best way I can describe Obama's voice.
But Obama's moved on to his like beach life. He's not. You haven't seen him or heard from him except for like when Biden was like, "I need you to campaign for me."
Well, if you look carefully, Tim, I'm on Instagram. Me and Michelle got caught kayaking down in Florida. The people freaked out.
We get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin, for you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
Do you want to sanction him?
What?
Lindsey Graham has a sanction.
Obama. Obama.
I love Tesla.
He is obsessed.
He is.
They keep talking about us having Trump derangement syndrome. This motherfucker is not over any of his exes. Like, come on, man. Kicking his feet. Kicking his feet in the
That's
air.
funny. He can't really move his feet, but that's funny.
His feet don't move.
Have you seen the guy walk lately? It's not great.
Trying to. How do I do the thing? Let me see. Trying to do it where it pushes us up, the comments or whatever. Shift videos up for comments. Why isn't it doing it?
My face?
Yeah, it's just fucking up Tim's face over here. Yeah, it didn't do it. All right. Oh, I got a banner up, maybe?
Oh,
right.
maybe. Try now. Nope. I mean, a little, but nope.
Yeah, let's do
What?
this, then this, then this.
His bill on Russia. Do you want him to move
I'm looking at it. Yeah, no, I'm looking. The Senate is passing and passed a very, very tough sanctions. But yeah, I'm looking at
And
it.
you'd sign that?
It's an optional bill. It's totally at my option. They pass it totally at my option, and to terminate totally at my option.
Nope.
I'm looking at it very strongly.
Not even gonna. Everything is at his fucking option. He's the president. He signs things into law.
I knew that.
Fucking moron.
I knew that.
It's at my it's my option whether or not to. Yes,
Dumbass.
that's how the process works. Haven't you ever seen Schoolhouse Rock?
So yeah, I work at the gas station. I may or may not, ring up customers or take out the garbage. Like, yeah,
Duh.
it's your job, dog. You should
Fucking
do that.
moron.
You should do what you're supposed. You're paid to do this. You're compensated, so do it, or give us our money back.
I would like my money.
Go
ahead, please.
The Council of Economic Advisors released a new report saying that imported goods have actually decreased in price from December
I know, it's not
through March.
amazing.
Well, my question is,
With the tariffs.
the Fed chairman keeps saying that tariffs are going to cause price increases.
Are we
Are the
sure?
prices just not
Chairman
passed
of the
through?
Fed?
Yes, exactly. Are the
You
prices,
do a better job than him.
Are the prices just not passed through yet?
No, I think what's happening is everything's evening out. When we
What?
see what people don't understand.
What's evening out? You pause the thing you're talking about. What evened out?
The other countries have been charged. Almost every country charges us tariffs. We had deficits with everybody for years, for decades, and we were like this big
No, we
monolith
don't.
that made bad deals
You
with
don't know what
everybody.
deficit
we
means.
rebuilt.
Oh.
We stayed there. It's okay. We rebuilt it, and we stayed there. And they pay us very little for the military. I got them to pay billions of dollars, and Biden then canceled it when he came in. I said to South Korea, as an example, we give you free military, essentially, very little. And
Free military. That's what they give them. Free military.
Why are we giving them free military?
Huh. I wonder why we're helping the South Korean military. That's a good question.
We don't have any vested interest in bolstering the South Koreans, do
No.
we?
No. And when I was at the political science conference earlier in the year, I went to a panel, and one of the papers was about the relationship between South Korea and Japan, and how fraught that relationship is with in regards to North Korea and South Korean politics, and sort of the triangle of that whole power struggle. And boy, the stuff that happened in the South Korean government last year with the martial law, and then this year with their president being removed, impeached.
So. He was impeached.
South Korea and Japan have a very tenuous relationship when it comes to political alignments. And one of the U.S.'s primary goals is to keep South Korea and Japan, nice with each other, so that if North Korea ever pops off, there's a united front.
I don't think anybody's joining North Korea.
No, I'm not saying anyone joining North Korea, but the Japan and South Korea historically are not friends.
They had a very rough past, and the Japanese did a lot of not nice things.
Yeah, the Japanese were the Japanese and the Chinese. Boy, that whole area is full of countries and people that just historically don't like each other, and they've been trying to get along. And it's just it's a lot more tenuous than people think it is politically out there.
Well, that's because Westerners are racist and they think that they're all Chinese because of their faces.
Yeah, Yeah. Also, we don't really pay attention to like Asian politics unless it involves China or India, because those are the two major players. But like Japan and South Korea, North Korea, and all those other countries are also have stakes. Like there's a lot of stakeholders there that nobody talks about. But if something politically were to change and we were to stop supporting South Korea, that would be a problem for Japan. That would be a problem for the other countries that are in the area that we're supposed to be allies with.
Right.
It's not just like China who would benefit from that. It's a whole network of diplomacy and alliances that would just kind of fall apart.
Nope, I missed the button. Damn it.
And that's my TED Talk.
The aircraft starts upside down and burning.
But they agreed to 3. So I got 3 with a phone call. And I was satisfied. I said, but next year we have to talk. And then we had a rigged election and we never got to talk. And you know what Biden did?
Oh my God, bro.
Give it up. Biden's like basically dead.
He's gone, man. Just let it go.
Listen, Trump treated us terribly, and we shouldn't be paying anything, and he cut it down to nothing. So that's what happens. It's ridiculous. That's the other thing. We're talking to countries about contributing to the military, not only just paying more in NATO, but contributing. We have 45,000 soldiers in South Korea. We have 45,000 soldiers in Germany, 52,000 actually. And, that's a huge economic development for them. That's tremendous amount. That's like having a city.
Wow.
It's tremendous.
Is he talking?
It's a tremendous loss.
He said they should pay us for us camping out our military on your shit without your permission or ability to tell us to go away.
Sure. The neutral zone between North Korea and South Korea, they should pay us to station our soldiers there because we provide such a service for them. Everything is a fucking grift for Trump. Everything is like what are you going to do for me?
Yeah.
If I continue doing what I'm doing, like what do I get? Everything's so fucking transactional.
All of the soft power that America has accumulated over the centuries, he wants to now turn into profit. Like that's money. Like that's money left on the table as far as he's concerned.
And in regards to the soldiers stationed in South Korea, if those soldiers were to leave, South Korea would be in a bad way.
Yeah. They're having a population crisis just like Japan.
Yeah. And that would be seen as a big concession to North Korea.
His best friend
who, sent him love letters in his first term.
So this is just him trying to hook back up with Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
Trying to get back together with them. He already, like him and Russia are tight, but now he's got to really shore up North Korea. They're feeling a little left out. So now I'm going to threaten South Korea with removing all the troops.
And you can't be transactional about that. That is a very there's a lot of tension in that relationship with those troops stationed there. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's important.
A soldier ran over a little girl and then ran back onto the base. So it's been a real thing over there in South Korea.
And there's a conversation to be had about the troops stationed there with South Korea and what level do they want troops there. However, you can't just be like, give us more money or else, or give us money or we'll stop supporting you altogether. Because South Korea is not a part of NATO. I don't know if Trump knew that. South Korea is not a part of NATO. We have a different treaty, a different alliance with South Korea. Germany, it hasn't been 100 years since they started a world war, so we can't trust them yet. That's why I feel we have troops stationed all over the world on U.S. military bases all over the world for reasons. We still have troops stationed in Japan.
Yep.
Because, we did that after World War II. to make sure that
they can come home. Everybody
Yeah.
come home.
Listen, I am all for less troops stationed overseas. However, some like the military hospital in Germany is sort of strategic to all of Europe and some of like Western Asia. For the troops who get injured, they go to that hospital.
Yep.
Because it's the premier medical facility for American troops in that region. You can't just like up and leave.
Why not?
And be like, fuck all that. Because you need logistics. It's a logistical thing.
No, we'll just fly them home to America 20 hours away on the fastest bird possible. We'll get him home in, a day and a half, and that'll get him the surgery that he needs. Like, this guy's a fucking moron. And for somebody or whatever, if I had a time machine, I would go back to the point where Trump is dodging the draft and point out that his bone spurs are fake and that Trump should be given the most dangerous job in the world. Like,
minefield
detonator.
Yeah, he. All right, Trump. Here's Private Trump. Here's what you're gonna do.
Take this toothbrush.
Take this toothbrush and this stick, and we want you to clear that minefield right over there.
Yep. Can I have a leaf blower? Shut up.
No, there's no armor. Sorry.
There's no time.
We can't spare it.
There's
we
no
need
time.
it as quick as possible. Just like randomly poke at things. We need to get this minefield cleared.
Do some cartwheels. The cartwheel in a minefield is funny. But this guy is not military minded. He never has been. He's always thought the military was for dumbasses and suckers and who would fucking sacrifice their life. I have my own Vietnam. It's called dodging STDs in the 80s. Like, these are his words. So now he's over here like, yeah, the military might and the you don't give a shit about any of this. He's trying to treat it like some like WWE machismo thing. Nah, dog. This has like real life. Like, this is the actual thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
actual conversation, and you still didn't study for the test.
I mean, it kind of shows in who his Secretary of Defense is, right? He's not a general. He's not. Doesn't have broad military experience. Yeah, he was in the Marines, but only long enough to get discharged from the Marines. He didn't really make it very far. He wasn't a general.
No.
He wasn't a high-ranking officer.
No.
And he ended up being a Fox News host.
Right. On the weekends.
His job is to be the front man, the face man, the TV guy for the military. That's his job, according to Trump. He's primetime ready for the military to talk about whatever the bullshit Trump wants him to talk about and not actually be the Secretary of Defense.
Hegseth is just Vince McMahon. Like, early level. You know what I mean? Like, Vince took a while to get to cocoon into the disgusting cell final form that he became. But Hegseth is like the beginning ugly cell.
The dude spent $40,000 to set up a fucking studio in the Pentagon so that he could be fucking TV ready whenever.
50?
Yeah. But I mean, that's the priority. That's what Pete Hegseth cares about, that and drinking and being abusive. But that's what the Secretary of Defense's job is, according to Trump. It's not to have somewhat of a diplomatic power as previous secretaries of defense, or be an advisor in times of war with the Joint Chiefs of Staff. It's to be the front man. He's the hype man for the military.
I'm not joining because fucking sweaty ass Hegseth, whose fucking breath reeks of Uncle Remus, is coming over. Hey, you want to be a warrior? Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm gonna go to art school. Fuck that.
So we're talking in a very nice way. We're talking to them about it. It's very unfair. We supply the military to many very successful countries. I mean, South Korea is making a lot of money, and they're very good. But they should be paying for their own military.
President Trump, I'll ask you a question about Trump as well, and then the question to the
question about what?
Jerome Powell, and then I have a question for the Attorney General. Jerome Powell, who you've been pressuring to lower interest rates, he's facing accusations of lying to Congress, which is a potential crime about the opulent.
Well, then he should resign immediately. We should get somebody in there that's going to lower interest rates.
Do you want congressional
Why don't
Republicans
you
to look
call
into
for
that?
his resignation?
Do you
Boy.
want Republicans to investigate and
It's
pursue
okay
and
with
punish?
me. I think he's terrible. I think, look, we're paying, I call him Too Late. T-O-O, Too Late, like Too Tall Jones for the Dallas Cowboys, right? Too late. He's always late. But he wasn't late with Biden before the election. He was cutting him like crazy. It didn't help too much, did it? But he was cutting him like crazy before the election with Kamala.
Too Tall Jones
Biden, he was
is a reference from 1988. 1988. He played for the Dallas Cowboys starting in 1974. Trump's references are so old.
Bro.
No one knows who the fuck he's talking about, by the way.
He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
And just so that and thanks for watching the show, Trump, and everyone else knows, Jerome Powell is not the only member of the Fed. He's not the only person who votes on those things. There's a 12-member board who votes on interest rates. He himself has said that I don't decide the interest rates. I'm just the chair. I just run the meeting.
I tell everybody to raise their hands.
Right.
I make sure the minutes are posted.
That's all he does.
Clerk and member.
But Trump thinks, since he's the chair of the Federal Reserve, that he fucking runs the show. He doesn't. He may have a sway in what the policy is, but he doesn't run the fucking Federal Reserve.
He totally knows what it does. He totally knows what it does. Don't try to make it sound like he doesn't know what it does. You can't trick him. He knows that he doesn't do that. It was a test.
Good work for me. I like you better.
If I could ask the Attorney General a question too.
Sure.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Oh man, I heard about this. Oh, by the way, Mikey, before we continue, we have poll results.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think of Tim and Mikey?
I think we got BA.
62% strongly approve. 31% say pineapple.
Damn. 31 pineapples?
31% pineapples. There's some haters out there.
I know who it was.
and 6% approve and 0% disapprove.
The people have spoken. There's been a mandate from the people.
That's the best poll results we've ever gotten in the history of polling.
Ever will get. Because we're not running any more polls. Polls are officially closed forever. I hereby ban polls on the network.
And if you want to know what pineapple means, there's a video up on the network. Yes. A little 2-minute explanation for what pineapple is. I believe it's members only. So you got to be a member to find out.
But stick around. Maybe you'll get one for free.
Yeah.
Mysteries of one of the.
Oh, there's Marco.
Little Marco.
I thought that was just the chair.
He has so many jobs.
Whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former labor secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the minute set?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey,
I
Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second?
Oh, now you guys come.
Trump doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, let me just distract you real quick because I don't want anybody to remember what you're saying. So let me break up your question, make it really fuzzy, and then Pam just start talking about, I don't know, dentist.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talking.
Yo!
Oh my God, he's so fucking upset about it.
The downplay.
I think he doth protest too much.
Talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about?
You talked about Obama for 20 minutes. He's been gone for 12 years.
Yeah.
About this guy, this creep? That is.
Oh, tough words. He called fucking
Yeah.
Chuck Schumer a Palestinian. He called fucking Jeffrey Epstein a creep. Okay, bud. Yeah, you're so poised with your words all of a sudden.
Unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time? And do you
Yes.
feel like
Yes.
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened.
Oh yeah, forgot about the flood for a second, didn't you there, dumbass?
And in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Here's what it sounds like Trump is saying. How can you talk about Jeffrey Epstein with all the great things and terrible things that are going on? How could you talk about this other terrible thing? Can't we focus on the great and terrible things that aren't Jeffrey Epstein?
Can't we just not talk about Jeffrey Epstein? How about we talk about anything but Jeffrey Epstein? Have you ever thought of that?
So and no one, and he's acting like they're going to ask him, what about all that, videotape of you and Epstein hanging out at parties, harassing women,
kissing each other on the mouth,
tonguing each other
in the face.
They don't. First of all, the press doesn't have the balls to ask that question.
That's why we're not allowed in there.
But the fact that he's so paranoid that someone's going to ask him, but weren't you and Epstein butt buddies? Weren't you guys the best of friends?
Remember during the campaign when he was running out of money and he was flying around in somebody's jet because it still had a contract? So he was like, well, I mean, he's not using it, so why can't I use it? And then he was like, I'm not on that plane. It's like, just you, right? Getting out of the plane. That's his friend. He's a creep. Okay.
He's a creep. I never met the guy. I never heard about him. The guy's a creep. I don't know why we're talking about him.
Best friend for 20 fucking years. Okay. Now you don't know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, because you said, I have the motherfucking shit on my desk, and I'm going through it, and I'm putting it out. You did that. You said that.
It's on my desk, and I'm going to decide about it.
I'm just sorting out the shit, and then it's coming right to you guys. And now?
Because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was,
it's on my desk. And we said, cool, let us see what it is. And you
In fact, I'm going to find it while we talk about this so we can prove.
it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well.
Those came out.
That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never.
Nah, that's not what we asking. We're not asking for a bunch of child porn. You said you had the list of the people going in and out of that island in his little black book. Him and Ghislaine, you said y'all had both of their little black books with everybody's name and contact information and all that shit. Ain't nobody trying to get the porn. What the fuck? We don't want that. Burn that shit. Put it in a box and drop it in the Marianas Trench. Don't nobody want that shit. You said you had the list of names on your desk.
Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that.
That's not what we asking. We don't want to know if you know. We know you don't know shit. We want to know if it's written down on some paper somewhere, and can we read that paper?
Yeah, we just want to be able to read the paper.
What you doing, man? What you doing?
Hold on.
You just
there we go.
my...
All right, here it is.
The list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you.
There you go. That's what she said.
Can't walk it back now, lady. Fucking.
She said Trump told me to, so I'm reviewing it.
But it doesn't exist.
Get back to you light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive.
Oh my God, she's so bad at lying.
I know. She's so about it.
Let's hear the lie again.
Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but
we showed definitively that it wasn't conclusive.
Oh boy.
Are you proud of yourself, Trump? Okay. Are you proud of yourself? Because even he's like, God damn, this girl can't talk. What the
they are doing backflips and somersaults to try and fucking avoid this Jeffrey Epstein thing.
This is worse than alternative facts.
This is like Trump told me I can't say the truth. So I have to fucking Yeah.
And I have CIA operative.
I have to fucking jump around and fucking wiggle out of these questions so that Trump doesn't fire me.
Child P meaning victims and the perpetrators, aka Epstein's friends. Mm-hmm.
That's, I mean, of which Trump is one of, or was one of.
Some of them are in the room right now.
At the parties. Fucking, they recorded. There's the video. The video is out there, reported by, I think, ABC, about Trump going to Epstein's parties and hanging out with Epstein before all this stuff came out, when it was kind of assumed. But, like, Trump was there. There's video proof of them shaking hands and talking and, like, licking each other's ears or whatever they do. It's out there.
And I want to quick correction. Thank you, Chrissy. Porn is porn. This is not child porn. This is child sex abuse imagery or material. CSM. So I will be referring to it as CSM. Thank you for the correction, Chrissy. Because porn is fun. Forcing children to do sexual acts is CSM. There's no You don't want to damage the fun stuff with their fucking disgusting behavior.
Unless you're in Texas, and then you can't do any of it.
No unlesses. No jokes. That was a good correction.
Minute missing from the video, we released the video showing.
Why does she have a full fucking Mad Hatter tea set in front of her?
Oh, that's Trump's golden tea set. Everything has to be fucking gold.
What the fuck is going on? A very merry birthday to me.
Definitively, the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is
Motherfucker, he died 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What are y'all talking about?
I don't even know what she's talking about.
They don't have cassette tapes. It's digital, lady. What are you talking about?
She doesn't know. Once again, she's twisting herself in knots to tell a lie so she doesn't get fired by Trump for saying the wrong thing.
Who is watching her ass like a hawk.
Who interrupted her to be like, listen, I don't know why we're talking about any of this. I don't want to talk about it, but if Pam Bondi wants to talk about it, let's let her fucking hang herself out to dry, I guess.
She said, I got all my notes on this paper right here. I am ready. I studied last night. It is inconclusively there. What she say? Fucking
set, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's
we're just gonna scrub the tapes on like all these different days. See, not strange at all.
It on Epstein.
Mr. President, on the tariffs again, on August 1st, you've said it is the deadline. What incentives do
He's doing a jaw jut. He's worried.
countries have to negotiate? It seems that deadline keeps moving. It was April 2nd, now it's...
We didn't move, no.
Heck, Seth, your white supremacist tattoos are sneaking out.
It's always been August 1st. That's when we're paying. A statement was put out today, and I put it out just to make it clear. It wasn't a change. It was August 1st. We don't change very much. You know, every
That's
time
a
we
change.
put out a statement, they
Wasn't it supposed to be July 9th?
We don't change very much.
Why is it August 1st now? Because fucking Taco Boy over here says it is?
He made a change. I didn't make a change.
You fucking did.
Maybe. No, August 1st they pay. And everybody pays. Everybody has to pay. And the incentive is that they have the right to deal in the United States. If they don't want to, they don't have to pay and they don't have to deal here. But if they want to...
Yeah, so I'm just shaking down every single country that if they want to sell anything in the country, they have to pay me off.
Did you see that he like sent a letter to a bunch of these countries?
Which they will be tearing up.
It is the same letter, word for word, except for the name of the country.
Beautiful.
He
carbon copied it. He copy C, copy V. Copy C, copy V.
And he sent these letters to countries that don't even like have an economic stake in America, like Bosnia. Like they're just going to be like, oh, okay, sure. Who gives a fuck? We don't buy or sell significant things with America. So fuck off, I guess. Like,
I'm assuming he literally sent a mail letter though, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's literally like every head of state got a letter, a physical letter, because he's fucking ancient, from the president of the United States saying, if you don't make a deal with us, this is going to be, I think it's like a 25% tariff across the board for everyone. Do you want to participate in the American economy? If not, 25% tariff. And some of these countries have nothing to do with the American economy. Not every country trades with America in a significant way.
Well, they shouldn't have watched Netflix. That made a deficit, and now you're fucked.
He's so dumb.
Love you.
He auto penned those letters, man. They shouldn't count. They shouldn't count.
Got him. With the 2 British pounds and the excellent point. He auto-penned them. The knife.
buy and make a lot of money and sell in the United States. They have to do that. You know, if you go back and look at...
I keep looking down here because I'm watching the monitor. The kid's having a great time. But the cat almost got snuffed out getting too close to her radius. I'm like, dude, if she gets her hands on you, you may not get away. And I think he keeps trying to sneak into her little soft, comfy area. He better not.
Some of the good presidents, our country was the wealthiest, proportionately the wealthiest. From 1870 to 1913, it was an all-tariff country. We didn't have...
He hasn't mentioned Texas, and I mean, I know I stopped and paused and talked a whole bunch, but I've been watching this for a good 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Income tax that came in in 1913. We had tariffs, and we had so much money.
What else was going on in 1913, dumbass?
Yeah. What else were we doing in 1913?
Didn't know what to do with it. We had, we had a couple of presidents that were very, very strong. McKinley, I guess, more than anybody, but he was the tariff king, but he was very...
Fuck William McKinley.
Sort of sad. He made a fortune for this country, became very rich. And then,
for the rich. He made a fortune for the rich. Those tariffs, yeah, the country made a lot of money. However, there was so much wealth inequality in this country in that time period that it collapsed the economy a decade later.
You know who's a great financial advisor? Bernie Madoff.
You know who
Everybody
is
could just Bernie Madoff their way into fortune.
you know who was a great president? Herbert Hoover. Love the guy.
You know who's a great president? Donald Trump. Like a great president, me once said.
Don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Teddy Roosevelt went out and vice president, and he spent the money. And they said Roosevelt was a great president. And let's say he was a great president, but the money was paid by McKinley with tariffs. Tariffs are charged by other countries.
They are not.
Levels
They're
that are
not.
ridiculous.
Stop it, Trump. They're not fucking, you're not charging other countries. When you send those letters to other countries saying that you're going to have a 25% tariff, you're saying that I am forcing the American people to pay 25% more for the goods imported from your country. That's what you're saying. You are not charging them any more money. You're purposely inflating the price of their goods. So for the American people, they still pay the same for their own goods. You're not raising the price of their own. In fact, they're going to stop trading with us. And in their country, their goods are going to get cheaper because there's going to be deflation. You're fucking with the world's economy doing this.
He's helping literally everyone else to bolster their individual domestic markets and making us pay the difference.
It's so fucking, he's so dumb. He's so obsessed with gilded. He's so obsessed with gilded era economics. He wants to live in the gilded era. That's what he wants. He wants to live in 1913.
Then move to the UAE.
And be a fucking oil baron or some shit.
Move to the UAE.
Yeah.
You don't drink anyway.
Go live in Saudi Arabia.
Go over there. They'll take you.
They love you over there. Stop trying to turn us into fucking Gilded Age America again. It's not gonna end well, just like it didn't end well the first time. There was a Great Depression.
He didn't finish the chapter. He's like, look at all the money from these tariffs. This is great. Close the book, throw it in the fireplace.
And you know, I call those other countries to say, and every one of them is willing to give us everything now, by the way, just so you know.
They're not. They don't care.
We'll charge you no tariffs, nothing.
Oh, shit.
None of them have said that.
Oh, well. I'm glad I fucked it up. I'm done listening to him.
Ooh, I got one for you, Mikey.
Ooh, BKB.
Oh, I hit the wrong button that time. There we go. Why am I? There we go.
Jeez.
Hey, you remember our friend?
Oh, yeah.
Mike Flood?
Yeah.
Well, he had another town hall.
Oh, no. Mike Flood, why would you do this?
And answers. I will tell you, a lot of you, as I talked to you on the way in, had concerns with the bill that we passed in reconciliation on Thursday morning. I voted for that bill. And I'll tell you what concerned me the most about what I'm concerned the most about.
Hey, Tim, pause real quick. Just as a refresher, this was the guy who was like, "I can't. What do you guys want us to tax the rich?" And everyone started cheering, and then he was like, "I can't believe you guys are booing a balanced budget." So now I'm sure he's going to talk all about this balanced budget that's coming up after this. Air horns, please. Tim Bellum, 5 British pounds. Just imagine a 25% tariff on Hollywood, Netflix, Google, Apple, Meta, Amazon.
Imagine.
Yeah, we ain't gonna have to imagine.
Have we not?
Oh, and if you want to watch the Mike Flood video that we're referencing, it's on the channel now. It's from Unbox Politics.
Extended the 2017 tax cuts, we would see on average a 23% tax increase on almost every family in Nebraska. The average family makes about $76,000. It would have been an additional $1,600 in taxes.
That's wrong.
It would have made it very difficult. It would have made it very difficult for people to pass the farm from one generation to the next, because the federal estate tax would have got cut in half. And we're about
the estate tax does not include farms in the way he thinks it does. Just putting that out there. The estate tax before Trump jacked up the fucking rate, not the rate, the qualification to apply to get into the estate tax. It used to be $5 million was the floor for the estate tax. You had to have an estate worth $5 million. Now it's $15 million, but farms were never really included in that. Farms are always disqualified from that because it's a business being transferred from, one person to the next. It's not like you're a personal asset. Farms are a business. And
live on the grounds of the business.
Right.
Unless you don't plan on selling any of those crops, and I think they'll treat you differently.
Right. So, it's not. Anyway.
Not to get to your questions, but the other thing I want to tell you about is what you probably are unaware of, because I didn't say it, but I was talking to the Nebraska Hospital Association almost every single day. I was on the phone with the people that run Department of Health and Human Services to find out how this would affect Medicaid patients in Nebraska. I was on the phone with providers of services to people with developmental disabilities. I know that the bill is not
You ignored all of them.
I believe that in crafting this bill, even a president that maybe most of you disagree with strictly said to the Congress and to the House, do not cut Medicaid.
Is he fucking dumb?
We don't address waste, fraud, and abuse.
Oh, very. Just wait till he gets
dumb.
Just wait till he gets asked the first question.
Holy dumb.
Yeah.
Useful idiots.
Yeah. Oh, I know we have a friend in the chat who's from Nebraska, and I want to ask, does Mike Flood represent you?
Use. So, with that, we've set the stage for a conversation.
We're all there pulling ice.
Question.
Oh, yeah.
How do you want to do this, Kim?
We're gonna.
I call it the darkest timeline.
We are in the dark. Oh, we need darkest timeline t-shirts.
Yes.
Cool.
We do.
That'll be fun.
Start with questions that I've drawn from the basket first. So the first question I pulled, it says, in a CNN interview, you said the big, beautiful bill in the long run is a gift to the citizen of America. How will it be a gift to my Nebraska neighbors who I see struggling to afford groceries and health care?
Good question.
First and foremost, this bill is the first time in literally more than a generation that we made significant reductions in mandatory spending. That was not done in 2017. That was done with this bill. Furthermore, it allows us to extend the tax cuts that were proffered in 2017. Had those not been extended, low and middle class families would have seen on average a 23% tax increase.
That's not okay. Pause. So the Trump tax cuts from 2017 barely fucking did anything for anyone making under $100,000. Like we're talking like you might have saved like 30 or 40. Like it was like under $1,000 that you were saving with his Trump. But then for everybody who made tons of money, you were saving like $250,000, $400,000 on your taxes.
Yeah.
So this bullshit that taxes were on average going to go up 23%. Yeah, fucking 1% for down here and 1,000,000,000% for, you know what I'm saying? Like the way that he's framing this is so like either he's reading his talking points and that's all he's got, which is very possible. I don't think there's a lot going on up there. Or he's so fucking stupid that he thinks that that is the actual consequence of what he's talking about.
So just to lay this out there, and here I'll put it on the screen here.
Thank you, sir.
So these are all the tax brackets historically from all the way up until 2021. Y'all
Control zoom.
Oh, how about that? So, we're not going to go all the way down, but let's go down to before Trump. Before Trump, 2016, right?
2016. I remember it like it was yesterday.
I remember it like it was
10 years ago.
So many years ago. This is the bottom tax bracket. This is the first tax bracket that you enter into. 10%. Oh, how come it doesn't go out farther? What happened here?
Go to the bottom. I think you can expand the thing.
Oh, I see.
There you go.
It scrolls. That's annoying.
I think you can here. Put it on. I'll put it on us for a second. Can you try to download the Excel real quick?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That way you can just fuck with it.
Good idea.
With your weird Excel skills, you gotta always have somebody in the crew that's an Excel person.
An Excel nerd.
You need a spreadsheet from time to time if you want to run a business.
You're always going to need a fucking Excel nerd.
Tell me lies, sweet little lies. Good morning, afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone and latitude and level.
Hi, Landon.
Of tariff impacts.
All right, I got the Excel. Let me just pull it together here. But yeah, this fucking Mike Flood guy, he is a real piece of work.
Sorry, Alice. Tim's gonna make it so we can actually fucking read it.
Yeah.
That was a bad website design to put it like that.
Okay, now I can actually scroll through it. Okay. All right. Put me back on. I'll make the Excel bigger. There we go.
Okay.
All right, so 2016, bottom tax bracket, 10%, right? Oh, and here's all the tax brackets for 2016. So 10%, 15%, 25%, 28%, 33, 35, and 39.6 is the highest tax bracket.
No, I get charged over half of what I earn.
Right. No, yeah. That's not even close. No. So these are all income taxes, by the way. This is the income tax. This has nothing to do with sales tax or anything else. If you go up to, let's say, oh, here's 2021. This is 2021. So 10%, 12%, 22%, 24%, 32, 35, and then 37 is the highest tax bracket. Not much changed. A couple of percentages. The bottom tax rate stays the same. The top tax rate only goes down, like almost 3%. Where is that 23%? Is there 23% anywhere? No. It's a couple of percentage points. And if you're on the bottom, it doesn't change at all. Right? They changed the amount that qualifies for slightly, but it doesn't change the actual tax bracket.
So, but like at the 24% in the last one, it's 86 rand. What is it on the other one?
Hold on, let me just make sure I'm on
2016. So it's line 43. Okay.
So that would be
one
here.
You know what I mean? But the tax brackets are upscaled because it's like the highest tax bracket is at 37% on the top one, but the number is 535K.
Right.
So that's what they moved. Like they shifted the fucking goalpost. Look, all the numbers are elevated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what we're talking about when they're giving tax breaks to the rich. They're just pushing up the limit to what number they're going to get taxed at and then lowering that amount as well. So not only did we get 2% less, but they raised the cap on it.
Right. Trying to see. Okay, here's I'm trying to.
So if you make up to 535 or whatever that top marginal tax rate was up at the top, like it's 535 at 37%. Whereas before you would have already been at, you know what I mean? It would have been higher before that.
And here's the actual better look at this. So this is 2017 versus 2018 when the new tax law went into effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look 2017, 10% is the same, and then it goes instead of 15%, it goes to 12%. And you're right, the number is actually that number is the same. They cut that rate.
Right,
That's an actual cut.
Right, and so they made these itty bitty little cuts, and look, we widened the bracket so that you guys can get more relief. Yeah, but it's only by a couple of percent, and then the caps are only increased by like $500.
Yeah, if you look at
$300.
But if you look at the top tax brackets of 32, 35, and 37, and the limits for those, they're completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Those people get a much higher tax break,
right?
Because the barriers between the tax brackets are increased so much,
right? So that percentage point is not graduating anymore. They just spread them all out for their accelerated income to make it look like they're part of the tax breaks too, because they needed relief too. Nah, motherfucker, if you over here making $500K, you don't need no damn tax break. You doing just fine.
Yeah,
you'll be all right.
Yeah.
You can weather whatever storm we throw at you. You'll be just fine.
But
if your income is $500K a year.
But there is no like 23% fucking. You wouldn't have to be paying 23% more in taxes.
Yeah, he's saying that 23% of people who are down in that bottom one, theirs would be increased a little bit.
A tiny bit.
Yeah. So that's the 23% of people having an increase, not a 23% increase.
Right.
Like he's phrasing it like a fucking. Go ahead.
But that's the tactic. People don't actually see. This is not a failing, but it's a problem that when lawmakers talk about this stuff in this sort of like spin speech that they use,
right?
People don't understand what they're talking about because
Right.
not everyone's in the weeds like we are. Not everyone's a fucking political junkie or knows a lot about the tax brackets. Like no one is out there doing that research.
Right.
So
not
when
everyone's a small business owner or married to a CPA.
Right. When they say these things, people generally either accept or don't accept based on what they know. And a lot of people don't have the knowledge or care about fucking tax law or tax brackets. Like, who cares? It's boring shit. But this guy has the ability to fucking lie about it because who's going to question it? I mean, a lot of people in this room. A lot of people in this room. But once again, these are the people who are more informed than just the general public.
Right. These people are actually at the town hall meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next question.
Okay, next question is, I thought your party wanted to reduce the deficit.
Good question.
And then that's one question. And then there's a second question. So I'll let you answer that first.
First of all, like I said, the reconciliation bill was the first major multi-trillion-dollar reduction in mandatory spending in generations.
Mandatory spending.
Medicaid and Medicare.
Medicaid, Medicare, and the federal debt. They didn't reduce the spending on the federal debt. You can't. Medicaid and Medicare, they cut $1 trillion out of Medicare. $1 trillion. And guess where it all fucking went? The fucking military industrial complex. We're
gonna have a golden dome.
His phrasing is very peculiar here because he says mandatory spending. And there's two kinds of spending in the federal budget. It's basically
mandatory and discretionary.
Yeah. And guess what? They didn't fucking reduce discretionary spending. They fucking exploded it. And not in the place
we saved so much money over there, Tim.
Yeah. They fucking put, we talked about it on the last show, $150 billion into the military and another $150 billion into fucking immigration enforcement and ICE. They didn't cut spending. They just cut the spending they don't like to put it somewhere else.
No, they cut your health care.
Yeah.
So that only. They only cut that. So relax, everybody. It's just your health care that's going away.
He's saying that so later on he can say, I said mandatory spending. I didn't say anything about the military budget.
that bends the arc to the better in the out years. We could not go further because the cuts that would have occurred are the very cuts that you oppose. Medicaid cuts. We cannot and will not cut Social Security, and we, for the most part, protected Medicaid. Those are two things.
Whoa.
For the most part.
Whoa. You can't put a qualifier before fucking.
He is right. They cannot cut Social Security because there aren't enough Republicans who are craven enough to do that. But they
mostly protected it.
Yeah, mostly protected it. They have mostly protected it until after the midterms, and then that's when the cuts go into effect. They've also done that. We didn't get to talk about that much on the last show, but the Medicaid cuts largely come after the midterm elections because they don't want to be blamed for it.
Yeah.
And those tax breaks on fucking tips and overtime expire after Trump leaves office. Like 2028, those cuts expire.
And it was only for the first 25 grand, which they didn't know.
Right. So y'all got fucking fleeced.
So what's 30? You roughly get taxed 30%. So 30% on 25 grand is $7,500.
Yeah.
I hope that was worth all of the health care for all of the country.
Right. All of the people who need it the most.
All of the people who are going to increase the cost of your now coverage because now they're going to be getting treated without coverage. So congratulations. You played yourself.
All those hospitals are going to be shut down.
Ultimately, we have to have this bill that will pass, hopefully, in its form with some amendments, and continue.
Oh, this is, by the way, after the House passed it the first time, but not after the House passed it the second time.
Got it.
GDP growth by growing economic opportunities.
Put your arm down, boy.
Thank you.
Whoa, motherfucker.
With some amendments and continued GDP growth by growing.
Hey,
you can make anyone look like they're doing that if you get them in the right pause. Whoa, Mike Flood, what's going on over there?
Mike Flood, chill. He said the water was this high.
Economic opportunities for all Americans. Thank you. Next question.
Okay, next question is what
hold
in
on.
the world
See, this is the problem with doing town halls like this. And honestly, these people are allowing this to happen.
Oh, yeah.
You should not allow him to just take prescribed questions from whatever. Disrupt this bitch until he fucking puts the mic in the stands and you do it the way that y'all want it to be done. That's number one. Number two, you forgot about the fact that all this shit adds 5.3 trillion to the deficit.
Yeah. He was avoiding that one pretty hard.
Glazed right over it.
He just decided he didn't want to answer that question.
the purpose
By the way, they do give people a microphone in a few minutes.
of renaming the Gulf?
Drink up, man. You're going to need it.
Question is what in the world is the purpose of renaming the Gulf?
Laughable.
Look how upset those people are.
A majority of Americans voted to elect Donald Trump president of the United States.
Not true. A plurality.
Not everybody voted to elect Donald Trump, but
wait, hold on.
Am I really informing you? No, I'm not. I'm misleading
you.
If you only knew how ridiculous that statement is, you wouldn't have said it.
Majority of Americans voted to elect Donald Trump.
That's not true.
When that bill was presented to the House, I voted for it in sync with almost the entire Republican conference because at the end of the day, I have to focus on the things that matter, and it celebrates the country that we love and the continent that we love.
For the most part, I don't rename bodies.
Disingenuous or even disingenuous.
We'll take questions from the audience.
Okay, before we take our first question, there's a pink and dark blue OtterBox cell phone out at the signing table. If that is your cell phone, please go pick it up.
Oh, shit.
This is all about you.
Get my phone real quick.
Hello, Congressman Flood. Please let him answer my question. I share your concern.
You're not my mom.
Yeah, but the ends
You
do
can't
not
tell me what to
justify the
do.
means. Can you please tell us why you voted to approve a budget bill that includes Section 70302, which effectively prohibits federal courts from enforcing contempt orders? Please let me answer my question. I only got 30 seconds. Which
Pipe
would
down, lady.
allow current and future administrations to ignore those contempt orders by removing the enforcement capabilities.
Don't read one word a minute, and then motherfuckers can clap. Shit.
I do not agree with that section that was added to that bill.
So then why'd you vote for it?
I will tell you this.
Yeah, you voted for
I
all
believe
of it. Wait, hold on. I think I want to get that. Yeah, that's a clip.
Hey, yo, wait. Turn it up first so you can get a good clip.
Oh, yeah. I got that volume boost thingy now.
Enhance.
Oh, bam. Enhance. Voice boost. Enhance. Let's see. All right. Yeah, that'll be good. All right.
I will tell you this.
Yeah.
I believe
you pause real quick.
In the rule of law.
Alice in the chat says, I moved out of the U.S. And on a visit to see family, I friggin' scorpioned. Oh, I've done that. Off my bike right at the finish $3,000 later for 5 stitches because I forgot travel insurance.
Ouch.
Whew. $3,000 for fucking 5 stitches is crazy.
That's so crazy.
It's like $1,000 a stitch. Damn. Just stitch me up with $100 bills at this point. Be cheaper.
I've taken an oath as an attorney. I've taken an oath as a state senator. I've taken an oath as a member of Congress. And I support our court system. And I do believe that the
unenhanced, he's too loud.
Oh, he's too loud. Sorry.
Yeah, he's like 250%.
There we go.
District court,
thank you,
when issuing an injunction, should have legal effect. In fact, I relied upon that when the Biden administration was in place. The federal courts did a tremendous amount of good work. This provision was unknown to me when I voted for the bill.
How?
Okay, next question.
How?
Next question.
I just want to say all the fucking Republicans who are like, I didn't fucking read the thing, but I voted for it are dumbasses. Because
I'm glad they confessed.
If you go back and you look at when Democrats are trying to pass major legislation, the Republicans are like, oh, they didn't give us time to read it. We don't know how words work, so it's going to take a long time for us to fucking read the thing.
They read the whole thing. Remember, the Democrats made them read the entire thing out loud?
Yeah. In the Senate, there was a reading of the bill.
It's his job. His fucking job is to be a member of Congress. He's going to have to vote on this bill. Why didn't you fucking sit there and watch the fucking reading of the bill? Then you would know what was in it.
Yeah. But no, I didn't like that. I didn't read that one. I didn't know that was in there. Just like Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was like, I didn't know the AI stuff was in the bill and I voted for it. Sorry. Whoopsie, I guess.
My flow about to be out of here.
Yeah. This dude is fucking, he's not with it.
You're going to have to move out of Nebraska and go work for Trump at Mar-a-Lago, washing golf balls with his mouth.
I am not going to hide the truth. This provision was unknown to me when I voted for that bill. And when I found out that provision was in the bill, I immediately reached out to my Senate counterparts and told them of my concern. And when I return to Washington, I am going to very clearly tell the people in my conference that we cannot support undermining our court system, and we must allow our federal court to operate and issue injunctions.
Yo, Tim, pause it. And you still got to turn it down to back to regular. He's screeching right now.
Okay.
I like how he was like, look, I voted for it, and I know I did, and I know that you guys can prove F11. Yeah. I know that you guys can prove that I did, but I did tell the senators after the fact that I made a mistake. So technically, I already fucking said sorry to the senators and asked them to fix it, and they didn't fix it. So it's not my fault.
I had nothing to do with this, guys. It wasn't me.
I just voted for it.
You're blaming the wrong guy. You're blaming the wrong guy over here.
Just let me out of here alive. Look, I'm stupid, okay?
What do you want from me? I'm dumb. I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm trying my best.
But before she goes on, I think this is a theme that I want to talk about because it's very important to me as somebody who grew up in a state where I went to Boy Scouts. I went to American Legion Boys State. I learned in history about the Constitution. I studied it in law school.
Didn't.
I believe
Nope.
in it.
Nope.
I do not believe.
No, you don't.
I do not believe the executive branch can suspend habeas corpus. That is not permissible under Article 1, Section 9 of the U.S. Constitution. And I believe that is my job when I get the opportunity and I'm armed with the best information to be very clear to you.
Tons of mice. For the most part, I'm not in the Senate, Mike Flood.
For the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah, Kate Smith, he went to law school.
Yeah,
exactly.
Issues.
Hold on, pause it. That's all him saying, look, I went to law school. I love the Constitution. That means you're a villain.
Yeah.
That's all. There's plenty of things are bad and wrong, but it doesn't make them fascist.
Sorry, Mike Flood. That means you're a fucking Nazi.
Yeah.
If you know how the law works and you voted for this Nazi fucking bill anyway, what does that make you, Mike Flood?
You know, not just always make good stuff.
Not just the lovable little. I'm just so flustered up here on the stage, looking like Piglet up there.
Yep.
Mike Piglet.
You
Flood.
people sicken me.
Oh, dear looking ass.
What was that?
I like that lady.
I am going to do.
She has a son in the basement that she has screamed at.
When it comes to issues on the rule of law, thank you for asking that question. I want to be on the record about it. I want to be very clear about it. And when these issues present themselves, now please know that every time someone in the administration
you voted against the Constitution,
can't hold a fire alarm every day. But if I see a writ of habeas corpus, quote unquote, suspended, that is not right. It can only be done by the Congress in terms of an invasion.
See you later, Scott. Take a break, man. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, person impersonator. Oh, bye, Scott.
I am here on the record with the people that elect me, and I want to be very clear about that. Okay, next
Thank
question.
you.
Next
Okay,
question.
We're not getting reelected.
Congressman Flood.
She's still rowdy from the last one.
Flood, at your town hall in Columbus, you promised that you would not vote for a bill that cuts Social Security and Medicare. Now, the Congressional Budget Office has determined that the bill you voted for last week will trigger $500 billion in cuts to Medicare. You either lied to us or you have been bullied into voting against our health care in favor of giving $5 trillion in tax breaks to billions.
Is he lying or is he stupid? Let's find out.
Which one are you?
I'm going with he's going to pretend to be stupid.
I'm going to also say stupid. Because he would never lie. He's an Eagle Scout.
And a lawyer.
He'd never lie.
Okay, I want to speak very specifically about Medicaid because most of the cuts in the bill really addressed Medicaid. And
you just said you didn't.
A couple of things. One thing about the state of Nebraska compared to a state like California is that we don't provide benefits to illegal immigrants.
Boy, it's worse. He's decided to go racist instead of stupid.
Yep. She said, are you lying or are you stupid? And he said, no, I'm racist.
I'm racist, actually.
So a lot of the savings will come from restricting that. The second thing you need to know is that Our systems are very responsible in comparison to other states that have more lax responsibilities. So when we say,
oh yeah, hey, Nebraska, are you one of those states that gives money to the federal government or takes money from the federal government? Which one is that? We really need to know that, because California is the biggest contributor to the federal government. So they're not a fucking dependent on money to keep their fucking state budget in balance.
Nebraska has the population of 2 of the town next to me's. They're like, my county has more people in it than all of Nebraska.
How many people live in Nebraska?
2 million.
That's 2.5 Connecticut's. Or not, Connecticut is 2.5 Nebraskas.
Yeah.
We have a population of like 5 point something million.
Right.
That's like the population of fucking Hartford.
They're not floating our fucking bills.
Right.
With fucking 2 million people. Calm down.
We know a bigger percentage of the people of Nebraska than any other state.
We got a super chat.
10. I don't know what that weird symbol is.
10 British pounds.
Keep being a ray of sunshine in these dark times. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
do feel like a ray of sunshine someday.
I have to admit that I needed the weekend to consider my thoughts on American politics.
Yeah.
Because
and honestly, that's something you guys need to, and I'm glad Scott said it, and I'll say it publicly for everybody. If you need breaks from this shit, totally fucking get it.
Oh yeah.
Totally fucking get it. Like I turn my phone off and I go play with the baby sometimes.
Yeah. I did not do anything political, watch political shows, listen to the news all weekend, because Thursday was a day.
It was a lot.
And yeah, like if you feel yourself getting like stressed out about it and stuff like that, like just take a break. We all need breaks.
It's there's other people that can worry. You can take a few days off.
And like Mikey and I have I guess we've been saturated in it enough. We have a tolerance.
Yeah.
That
we're
other
like
people,
binge drinkers.
Yeah. This is our binging.
You know, like remember in I don't remember which Lord of the Rings, Indiana Jones it was. But remember when Homegirl would go to like the Russian bars and she was drinking those guys under the table? That's us.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't look it, but we have a surprising level of mental alcoholism going on. So we can dive into the shit on the daily.
I was watching, or not watching, I was listening to a podcast with Hassan Minhaj, and he was interviewing Chris Hayes. And Chris Hayes just came out with a book about how we're addicted to social media and how it's changed our attention and perception of things. And even Chris Hayes was like, listen, I do this professionally. My screen time on my phone is insane, but that's because I wrote a book about addiction as an addict. That's where he's, I'm addicted to the news, social media, blah, blah, blah. And I wrote a book about it because someone had to know my insanity. Like, that's why he wrote the book.
Someone remember me.
He's like, you don't have to watch the news 8 hours a day to be an informed citizen. Nope. He's like, read the morning paper, watch 30 minutes to an hour of news at night. That's it. That's really all you need to be an informed citizen. 30 minutes to an hour every single day. And if you don't want to do it that much, that's fine. If you want to do more, good on you, but take a break. Now Mikey's going to look up his screen time.
I'm going to look up my screen time.
Oh, me too. Anyone want to take the under over on on our screen time?
It's not as bad as I thought, but I think that's okay. So I have I have some concessions. I think some things need to be taken into account. Okay.
I haven't looked this up, so I have no idea how to find it.
I just searched it because I have an iPhone.
Oh, I can search.
You know, it's better. You know.
Nah. Screen time.
First used after pickup. What does that mean?
Screen time.
So essentially, my phone is on YouTube for 7 hours a day.
Oh yeah, mine is 4 hours a day on YouTube.
That's not counting my computer, which almost permanently has 2 to 3 YouTube tabs open because I have to find stuff for us to talk about.
So my screen time overall yesterday was about 4 hours, which is high, but not like insane. Most of that was YouTube. The rest of it was kind of Instagram because I'm a millennial.
It should be in the channel description, I think. I updated it, so it should be like in like our homepage. It should have like the schedule as the first like about us post.
I mean, we can, and I think Mikey has posted like our general schedule in like the description where it's like Tuesdays and Thursdays. And actually, we're trying to work it out to where it's like, I don't know, every day of the week almost we do something.
Yeah, daily show.
Yeah, because Mikey does Politics Social on Mondays and Fridays.
Then we do Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then Thursday again.
Yeah.
And then we did the food thing on Wednesday, which, Ready Up might have to be a thing because there's a lot of gaming news happening.
Yeah. I mean, if you want, we can talk games tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I could use the Ready Up music.
Yeah.
That I've been saving.
Anyway, so if you ever need to like take a break from the show or something, like we need to take breaks from it too. Yeah, I was very upset on Thursday. And just the Republicans and their blatant grift on the entire country, and this fucking Mike Flood guy is one of them. And the Democrats' just inability to do anything except delay the inevitable.
Like we crash out to each other.
Yeah.
We typically don't do it on air. It's typically in like the group chat or
if you want to see me go on some kind of rants, watch Thursday night show. I had some rants in there.
Yeah, Tim was hot.
All right, let's listen to this guy take questions.
Work requirements for able-bodied Americans.
I forgot what he was talking about. The work requirements is wild.
Yeah, they already have jobs.
They already work.
But their jobs don't provide health insurance. So that's why they're on Medicaid.
That's why they're on Medicaid, mother. The craziest part is, how is it possible that a person working full-time needs Medicaid and SNAP in the richest country in the world?
Look, Tim, we can't be those upper tax brackets can't pay no more. They can't. The guy making $500K, he can't stomach a $7,000 tax increase. We got to put that on the other guy.
Yeah. Russell Cannon says Smurf fans. They lighted him terribly. Look at this. He does look like a fucking deranged Smurf.
Lit. Lit.
They lighted him.
They
forgot.
They lost him.
They lost him. They forgot to white balance him.
Correct. In real life.
In real life, he's not white balanced.
They got to hold the button on the back of his neck.
We say you have to work in order to earn the Medicaid. We don't have that problem in Nebraska. We have unemployment that is near the lowest in the nation.
I wonder why their unemployment's near the lowest in the nation. Maybe it's because they changed the requirements for unemployment.
When you're in a state like California or New York or Florida, their unemployment number is much different, their work requirements. So when I saw this come through as a savings point in the big bill, I looked at how it affected my district and how it affected the state of Nebraska. Our unemployment is so low that anybody that can work is most likely working. So this
Pause it. Fucking tons. Corn doesn't really need to work. unemployment across the country is really, really low.
Yeah.
What the fuck are y'all bitching about?
Our country has been near or at full employment for a while. And there are many states, I'm sure Nebraska included, where there are more jobs than actual people.
Like what more job? Like just because you want someone to work somewhere doesn't mean that that's unemployment.
Yeah. Just because like there's literally like Maine has a problem where there aren't enough people in Maine to fill all the jobs that are in Maine.
Almost sounds like they need immigrants.
Right. It almost sounds like you shouldn't be bussing people out of their fucking deporting people out of their state because they're brown. Like
it's crazy, right? It's almost like they're running out of people because like all the workforce is gone.
And that was before Trump was deporting people like that. Like this was maybe 4 years ago. I went to Maine and there were signs up. They were like, "Oh, we need, we need someone to fill this job at like it was like $25 an hour or whatever." But like, I talked to some local people and they're like, "Yeah, there's an employment problem. There's not enough people for the jobs. We're at total employment. Like the unemployment rate in Maine was at like 1%, and those are people who just physically can't work." And some people who just left the workforce. Aside from that, everyone is working. There aren't enough people for the jobs. They're having the opposite problem. It's not people are staying home and being lazy. It's that there just aren't enough people. And taking people off.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, and taking people off of Medicaid because of a work requirement that maybe they can't meet because it's too high and they have a bunch of part-time jobs is ridiculous.
I was looking at a live cam or whatever to see what was going on. Oh, Tim Ballum with 5 British pounds.
Have to look at Dale Vince and the others in the UK want to pay more tax.
Even Marky Mark was up there like, yo, tax us more.
Yeah.
Even fucking... Or Matt Damon. He's like, yo, yeah, raise my taxes. I'll be fine.
I remember, was it a few years ago? What's his name? Who ran Berkshire? Who ran Berkshire Hathaway? Said, tax me more. Like I pay less in taxes than my housemate does. I shouldn't be paying this little in taxes.
Like they're not like when the money starts getting so freaking high, like the values are just so high.
Ah, yes, Warren Buffett. That's who said it. Warren Buffett.
Yeah. It's you can't even, if you had $2 billion, I'm giving all of you $2 billion on January 1. I'm giving all of you $2 billion. One stipulation: the money has to be gone by the end of the year, and you can't buy any companies.
Ooh, a Brewster Millions situation.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
You can't physically, if you went out shopping every day, the interest on that money would replace the money you spent. It's like $330 million a day to keep the interest from getting to putting the money back.
Yeah.
It is literally a problem with like game theory and societal norms to have this many billionaires. It is physically impossible for them to spend the money. Unless you're buying things that cost $1 billion. It's
right.
It grows back too fast. It's a disease. Money is a curse.
Yeah, no, that's you. And the other side of this is you can't austerity your way into fucking prosperity.
No.
You can't just cut and cut and cut and not raise fucking taxes. Because the problem that they're running into and the problem that they're going to continue to run into on the conservative side is you have to dig into these very important programs to get the cuts that you want. Their other problem is they don't know how to stop spending money either.
Right.
They're putting all this money into ICE and the fucking military. They don't need to put it there. I mean, maybe if Kristi Noem decides that she wants to stick to some sort of budget, but you couldn't do that. You don't need to add another $150 billion to the military. They don't need it. They don't even know what they're spending it on at this point.
Mars has a trade imbalance with the United States. We're tariffing your potatoes at 600%.
Before they gave all this money to the military was actually considering, or at least Pete Hegseth was considering, what programs can we cut? Like, where can we actually doge ourselves and save some money? And then Congress is like, well, we're just going to give you another $150 billion. Is that okay? Like a 10% increase in your fucking budget. Is that okay?
Finally, we have the largest increase to the military in the history of this nation. And everybody clapped. I'm like, I thought y'all wanted to pay less.
Yeah.
They just started clapping like reflexive morons.
There's no country in the world that can match our military spending. It's crazy.
And they never will as long as we keep increasing it every
Right. I know the dollar is at a 30-year low in terms of value, but damn. Or was it a 50-year low? It was 1973, I think, is the lowest it's been. Anyway, we'll listen to this guy for a few more minutes.
Yep.
Well, I'm touching Medicaid right now. The other thing that this bill does is it implements national community engagement requirements, known as work requirements. Specifically, it has recertification happening more often, especially in those states that have a higher waste, fraud, abuse, or
more barriers for people to not get their fucking benefits.
So then if they mess up that paperwork,
or you forget it. So here's the recertification. Instead of having to reapply for Medicaid every year, you now have to reapply for Medicaid every 6 months, which is bullshit.
And the website's gone.
And the website's gone. And the phone lines are gone.
And you can't do it over the phone. You got to go in person.
Yeah. Yeah. Or and if this is an actual problem for you, if you're worried about your Medicaid, call your congressperson, not this guy. He's not going to give a fuck.
He's not going to do shit.
But if you live in a district where your Democratic congressperson does actually give a fuck, call them, because there's people that can help you. Now, will they help you very quickly? Probably not, because there's going to be a million people calling them. But
they're closing those offices as well. They were trying to sell the buildings, and they got caught.
So if you have a problem with Social Security, Medicaid, or Medicare, for Medicaid, it's call your state. For Medicare and Social Security, call your congressional representative or your senator. They can help you. They should help you. And if they don't, fucking vote them out of office.
Get rid of them.
Error rate.
That's what's got to happen.
But let me stress to you that I was very clear with the Nebraska Hospital Association, DHHS, several different providers in the community, checking on a lot of the specific and general concerns they had about the bill. And I would encourage you to reach out to your hospital to find out who in the Nebraska.
Tim Bound, thank you so much. 2 British pounds. Right to repair could save the military billions. Yes.
And farmers.
The farmers would love that shit. Fucking John Deere and Caterpillar have been fucking them over for ages. And the same thing with the military, because they need Caterpillars and tractors and shit like that, because just to manage the grounds and all that. That's 100% would save them a ton of money.
Yeah.
That's I hate when they fucking plan obsolescence shit.
Yeah. I mean, your beloved Apple does that all the time with all of their products.
Yeah.
They fucking program your operating software to be shittier and shittier.
Yeah, my older phone, the battery still craters. I'm talking about it might last, like if I'm playing like Pokemon Go or something, because we're out at like the zoo or something like that. Tractor damn near killed her. Yeah, I can't even like do a full zoo trip without my phone being 1,000 degrees.
Yeah,
and not working. The battery like dies almost immediately. Like I can't play music on the way to the zoo and play it and then come back. It'll be dead halfway through the trip. But my new phone's better
for now.
Until they try to force me into the iPhone 20. I kept I kept iPhones for like at least 8 to 10 years. Fuck them.
Delegation worked the hardest on trying to solve a lot of these problems that our frontline providers have. Is the bill perfect? No, we've never written a perfect bill. But if you have specific instances We are going to have an opportunity as it goes through the Senate, and I can tell you both Deb Fisher and Pete Ricketts will have an opportunity, and then I'm going to have another opportunity where I'm also going to be looking at that federal district court injunction language.
Okay, next
All right, one
question.
more question.
Just to clarify, President Trump did not get a majority of the votes cast for president.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Right,
Sorry. I was reading.
Just to clarify, President Trump did not get a majority of the votes cast for president. Another personal observation about the requalification or refiling for Medicaid, going to be twice a year under this bill. When my daughter was alive, I got to experience how difficult that is. And it causes a lot of personal heartache and headache. It is not simple, and for a lot of folks, it just isn't simple. My question, however, is since the bill is passed, the Wharton Business
Ask your mother.
University of Pennsylvania, where President Trump went to school, they've been able to take that bill and process it through their budget model. They found a few things. It increases the debt by 7.2% over 10 years. It increases the GDP by just 0.4% over that same period of time.
Damn.
The top 10% of Americans get 70% of the value in that bill.
That's the 23%.
Bill
Yeah.
hurts a
That's
lot
where he's getting it from.
lower income brackets.
It's the total impact.
There's a few examples here. I know. People in 40% or lower, when the Wharton Business School combined tax cuts and the cuts to services and then banded that by income bands. People 40% and lower in our country will actually lose money in 2026. The people in the top percentiles, 95 to 99%, they're making $400,000 to $1 million. Their average benefit in 2026 will be $18,000. People in 99,
They don't need it.
99.9 percentile, they're making $1 million to $4.3 million. They're going to make $41,000 benefit in 2026. Here's the kicker: the top
Pause it real quick.
1%.
Because that's income. That's you made $1 million that year. Not that you're worth $1 million. You made $1 million in the fiscal year, like in the calendar. Like you made that much money.
Yeah.
And you're worried about 41 grand? You need an extra 41 grand? You don't even know. Like that's four
What
pennies.
do you need that for? Yeah, what do you need that for?
That's 4 pennies to a $100 bill.
What do you need that for? They don't need that. This is fucking...
It's theft.
Yeah, it's wealth redistribution.
Yep, it's just dressed up theft.
Stealing from the poor to give to the rich.
Because the poor ain't working hard enough. So we deserve it.
They're making over $4,300,000 every year. Their benefit next year would be $390,000. Were you aware when you voted?
Yeah, cut their
how this conglomeration of benefits and cuts were banded by income bands? And if you were, can you share what the model was that came up with that distribution that you looked at? And if you weren't aware, why not? Big bills create winners and losers. We talked about this in Columbus. And this bill is creating winners and losers. And I don't see how anybody could vote for a bill if they don't know who are winners and who are losers.
Pause it.
First of all, I'll say I have not seen a Wharton Business.
So if that guy runs for office, who's not voting for him?
Right.
This is what I'm like. This is the danger on the ground. I'm glad you played this because I had a little bit of a disagreement, with some UK friends of ours where these Trumpers, these red states, these Trumpers, they'll never see the light. Case in point. Like, it doesn't make sense on the ground. You can't tell these people, I'm going to cut all your shit. And also, you're welcome. He can easily go to the Congressional Budget Office and just be like, yo, this is what they're saying. Why would you vote for this? So if this guy gets out and fucking goes to the fucking state fair and says, hey, get rid of Mike Flood, vote for me. I'm the guy who asked the question.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Question guy. This is a cakewalk.
Yeah. The question guy, he knew his stuff. Like, I would remember him.
Hey, white-haired question guy.
Yeah. Vote for me. I asked the question.
Yeah, get rid of him.
They call me question guy.
They call me question guy.
School analysis, and I'm sure I can Google that and I can read it for myself, and I will. I will tell you.
He hasn't read it yet?
He hasn't read it yet. Hold on.
I have not seen the Wharton Business School analysis, and I'm sure I can Google that and I can read it for myself, and I will.
What do you do for a living, Mike?
A lot of us in Washington, including a number of representatives that have served in state legislatures, are perplexed by the CBO numbers that are given, because if you apply the same numbers to the tax cuts that were started in 2017, they did not accurately reflect the explosive growth that we saw.
Explosive growth?
Where is that at?
Where's that at?
What school does explosive growth go to? Not our school.
I remember, 2018 being an okay year, and then 2019 being an absolute fucking crater. Mike Flood does not read.
Facts.
Explosive, bro. Come on now.
Just making shit up now.
Explosive growth and unemployment.
In the United States before COVID. And so I will tell you that had I not voted for this, and granted, it's not the law because the Senate has
fucking tons of ice.
enacted, there would have been a sizable tax increase on lower and middle income Nebraskans. And that is I believe.
What he meant to say was that if the tax cuts were to expire, there would be a slight increase on lower income Americans, and middle income Americans would have their tax brackets rearranged.
Believe that I did the right thing, and I have studies that I can share and I will publish that I did rely on during my time over this bill. And sir, we have to let somebody else have a question, but that is my answer to
He didn't answer the question.
your question. Next question.
Okay.
All right. It's almost time for us to go, Mikey. So we'll save some of this Mike Flood for Unboxed, because I'm sure we can get another Unboxed episode out of that.
This is funny. But real quick about Brian Tyler Cohen. I forget what panel he was on, but they were asking him, like, there was a bunch of like lefties from YouTube and like this independent media wave that's going on. And he was like asked like about who he would want to see like step up onto the Democratic stage for like president. Guess who he fucking said?
Who?
Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith? Come on now.
I was like, everyone said, what? Even Van Lathan on the stage was just like, hold the fuck. What the fuck?
You watched the breakdown?
But that's like, Brian, I don't trust anything you say, but this is a good clip, and I couldn't find it on Fox because they hide everything.
Glenn, we have an update on a possible defamation situation that occurred on Fox News.
Defamation?
So first off, before we go to the update, I'm going to show you the initial clip.
Yeah, well, I just think it's interesting that all of a sudden people voted for Thomas Massie. Like, I don't remember voting for Thomas Massie with this.
This is an OAN lady. I couldn't find her name, and I couldn't find this clip.
I remember voting for Donald Trump to get this bill passed, and I feel like a lot of Americans who voted for Donald Trump feel the same way, especially not only with Thomas Massie, but a lot of the other Republicans who are kind of leaning towards no. They didn't vote.
Is she saying that because most people didn't actually get a chance to vote for Representative Thomas Massie, that his vote shouldn't get to fucking count because not everyone gets to vote for every member of the House of Representatives? Do you know how long the ballot would be if you got to vote for all 435 members of the House of Representatives?
Tim, I voted for Trump. Therefore, everything that I want to happen needs to happen.
And this is further illustrating a point that I try to make, is that Trump and Trump's voters do not give a fuck about Congress.
No.
They don't give two shits about what Congress does, because they only care about what Trump does. They only care about what they don't. This whole bill is the only thing that he cares about that Congress has ever done. And the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act. That's it. Otherwise, all of the congressional Republicans could kindly go fuck themselves, according to Trump. And who is this lady? I don't know.
I don't know who she is.
Vote for these Congress people.
She works for Turning Point USA. She works for Charlie Kirk.
Mandate. And if you're going to vote no on this, then you're voting along with Democrats, especially Democrats like Maxine Dexter, who was on the Hill today dressed in a white robe, who also visited El Salvador to go see Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who killed Americans. This is something that a lot of people are passionate about passing. If you're not siding with Republicans, then
now Kilmar, now he's a murderer now?
Breaking news.
What are they gonna?
What?
They're gonna declare he's done like war crimes or something like.
And we all know he dropped the nuclear bomb.
Yeah, right. He dropped the bomb on Hiroshima.
She just make shit up.
Fortunately, you're siding with Democrats.
That Fox guest, Glenn, was Monica Page, who is a Turning Point USA White House correspondent.
Oh, I didn't put the I in Page. Fuck. That's why I couldn't find the clip. It brought up some other blonde lady, and I was like, I know it's Fox, and they're all blonde when they're women, but...
Respondent, and she made that defamatory claim suggesting that Kilmar Abrego, quote, killed Americans. Fox News now has come out and issued this statement on air.
Quickly, Fox News. Hey, yo, lawfare, dog. Lawfare. They always trying to lawfare us. You know what I mean? I don't know why they always lawfaring us when we break the law.
And I would like to make a correction on a statement made by one of our guests last night. As Monica Page pointed out on her X account shortly after her live appearance, she misspoke when she said that Kilmar Abrego Garcia had, quote, killed Americans. He did not. Monica apologized, and we as well do at Fox News at night.
So, Glenn, how does the fact...
Oh, man. They knew. They were like, I'm sure someone in the control room in that show was like, what the fuck did she just say?
Because they got in trouble.
Yeah.
They got in trouble before.
Yeah, that show was like, dump out right now. We got to get out of here. Go to commercial right now.
Cut her fucking mic now. Cut the mic.
Oh my God. That is fucking wild.
So let's do this one last video, and then we'll save the rest for tomorrow.
We have the main.
We're going to talk about Texas because the fucking president refused to. Oh no, what's this? Oh, she clipped us. Oh shit! How do I get to the clip?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, Tons clipped us.
Tons clipped us.
You bastard!
What did Tons do? Hold on.
All right, let me find it. I want to see it. Okay, here it is.
I want to see the clip.
All right, hold on. I'm pulling it up. This isn't self-serving, I promise. Beginning. Tim, I voted for Trump. Therefore, everything that I want needs to happen.
Got him.
No,
got him.
What happened to me? Now I know how Bernie feels.
The jobs that we white people used to have.
Damn.
You know what? I'm gonna take that clip and turn it into a soundboard clip on my soundboard.
The betrayal. So if you guys are not following us on Twitch, that's one of the benefits of Twitch is that you can make clips of us out of context and get us. Damn. Bees like that sometimes. You live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Mayor, who's going to join me right now, if we have some time. The mayor was one of the officials who just spoke in this press conference. Mayor, I know it's been such a tough time for you. What message do you want to get out there to the public?
First off, there are a lot of grieving families.
And I agree with them. But the thing I think people need to know is it's not just Kerrville working on this. It's not just Kerr County. It's the state and the nation. And we have experts in emergency management that are here and helping us guide this entire process. But as I said earlier,
that's their video. They're down in Texas, so all the telecommunications are a little wonky down there. So that's why it's jittering like that.
We're still hopeful. I mean, we're still hopeful for every inch, every mile, every bend of the river that
I
we're
did see a little bit about that, Alice,
and find someone to save.
So this.
Anyone here heard of the UK arrest of Holocaust survivors for being part of the pro-Palestine protests, etc.?
Oh, I did not.
I mean, they're like 9,000 years old in the little wheelchair with a little sign and just like, come on, just put the club on the wheelchair and just put them on a dolly, I guess, and put them on a flatbed and get them on. Like, you can't shut up, people. Right is right and wrong is wrong.
This is still very much a search and rescue mission.
Indeed.
When do you think it will transfer to recovery?
I'm not the expert on that.
I, as you heard me in the press conference, was asking about the coordination between county officials, emergency managers, and National Weather Service. Were you involved in any discussions leading up to the deadly flooding about the concerns with the weather and potential evacuations or activating any plans?
Yeah.
I'm not an emergency manager. I did check the weather that night. I went to the National Weather Service website. He said we had a slight chance of about 2 to 4 inches in the morning of July 4th.
5 to 7, right?
My memory was 2 to 4, but I'm an older person. And being a hill country boy, I went outside and looked at the sky. Partly cloudy, the sky was not angry. And I thought to myself, someone's going to get rain, but it's probably not going to be us.
Jeez, look at that fucking bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wrong. I was awakened in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't know if this CNN thing is going to get into like the politics of this, but
yeah,
Trump...
he's about to say the trigger word for us in a second.
Okay.
It's coming.
Tonight by thunder. I looked outside. We had a light rain. In fact, the city of Kerrville really didn't have a lot of rain until later in the day. It all happened upriver at the worst possible place. And I think everyone in Kerrville, everyone in Kerr County wishes to God we'd had someone.
They need private fucking interview rooms.
Yeah, they do.
I think everyone in Kerrville, everyone in Kerr County wishes to God we'd had some way to warn them.
If we do even know the outside consequences of this geoengineering,
to warn those people.
We can't predict the weather next week. How can we then be sending these guys up there to do this?
I've lost 2 friends.
The ramifications or the outcomes. I think that's
We left them.
question. It is. It's kind of frustrating to want to answer that.
And they're
It
gone.
definitely needs to be asked.
They're gone. Everyone here, if we could have warned them, we would have done so. And we didn't even have a warning. We did not know.
You didn't know how severe.
No.
I'm so sorry for the loss of your friends.
We did not know. There was no. When I checked it about 8 o'clock that night, there's a chance of rain. But I did not see a flood warning. I did not receive a flood notification. I did not know.
There was around 6:30 p.m. The National Weather Service gave a dire river forecast, but I wonder how common.
The map was all the way from Kerr County to Valverde County, hundreds of miles, and we were on the very edge of that map. And even if we were on the edge of the map, if it had hit 5 miles to the west, you'd be in Real County right now because the water would have all rushed to Real County. Yes.
How common are those types of alerts and the weather warnings and the flood warnings? Because there has been discussion too about whether there's alert fatigue.
Oh no, we get alerts on floods fairly often because of the terrain here. But I look at every one of them. Even
I wish I would have saved the video. I won't do Google Maps because it likes to show where I am when I don't want it to. But pretty much where they're at in Central Texas is a lot like where the Ozarks. Like I'm from Missouri, so I know the Ozarks, and it's pretty much like like hills, but the hills are probably like 500-600 feet. And then like, like it kind of gently kind of slopes, and it's like, it's been carved out by water geologically. So when they got not a couple of inches of rain, but 12 to 15 inches of rain, and everything is in a hill, everything comes together at the same creek, the same river, the same stream. And then those all feed into the same one until you get this 25-foot wave of water pushing down the thing in an hour.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. It's
terrain.
it's a snowball effect of like,
Mm-hmm.
Smaller streams feeding into bigger streams, feeding into rivers, and then just all out chaos.
But they're all so close to each other because of the hills.
Right.
Each individual hill makes its own stream.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we had that in Connecticut last year. There was a lot of flooding near where I lived. Unfortunately for me, I was too far away from the actual flooding, but there were like places that had never seen that kind of from like one day of rain. By the way, it was like a foot of rain in a day.
Yeah,
washed away houses, roads, bridges. Some of it's still being rebuilt. Like the bridges that got taken out are still being rebuilt. But yeah, like that stuff, it snowballs very quickly and it's very fast.
Not even before I was elected mayor, I look at every one of them because it's critical to know and to share.
And did you get an alert on your phone in those overnight hours?
I did not.
Does that concern you?
Yes, of course it does.
What are you going to do as mayor to get to the bottom of this?
Well, thank you for asking. As mayor, I have fairly limited authority within the city of Kerrville. I don't have authority outside the city of Kerrville. I am sure our community, the city government and the county government are going to focus on what can be done to prevent this from happening again. And because honestly, I individually did not receive a warning in time. When I woke up, I got a call from the city manager. I got up.
What time was that?
Oh, goodness. 5:30-ish. I can look on my phone, but about 5:30-ish. I went downtown and I looked at the river, and it was already, our Louise Hayes Park was already inundated.
First of all, for everyone who's saying, they voted for this, this is what they get. Does this make you feel happy?
Yeah.
Again, even though Trump and his MAGA idiots are rabid dumbasses roaming the countryside, they're still citizens and they still need to be taken care of. That no one deserves this shit. The fucking kids at summer camp don't deserve this shit.
Yeah, the neighborhoods that were wiped out like don't deserve that kind of like I always feel some kind of way about things that are politicized like that. Like, oh, they deserve this for one reason or another, whether it's like a shooting or a natural disaster or anything like that. It's like always
the kids in Uvalde fucking deserved it because their parents voted for lax gun law. Like, what the fuck? Like, have some fucking humanity.
But on the other side of it, this is the price of austerity. This is the price of Trump's hatchet job to government.
Yep.
This is the price of making the government workers seem like evil people that we have to get rid of. Like, this is the vilification, the vilification of government workers. It's terrible that it's come to this sort of thing, that they cut fucking, it's NOAA and the National Weather Service, guys. It's not some fucking socialist organization. They track and predict the weather. They're not trying to fucking jam climate change policy up your ass. All they're trying to do is predict the weather. And when they can't, I've seen it on my weather predictions. They are no longer as accurate as they were.
Yeah.
And when this kind of shit happens, first of all, you cut all the people that fucking predict the weather, so they can't accurately predict the weather anymore. And when they don't accurately predict the weather, then there's more funding that needs to be had for natural disaster. But guess what? They've also cut the money for FEMA.
Yep.
And FEMA doesn't have a plan for any of this shit anymore.
They said it's up to the states.
It's up to the states. And guess what? The governor of Texas, boy, he really doesn't give a fuck.
No.
He couldn't care less. And your senators in Texas, last time there was a natural disaster in Texas, Ted Cruz took a fucking flight to Cancun.
He had to get out of here. He had to escort his kids, his late teenage daughters who don't know how to ride in an airplane. So he had to fly to Cancun with them just so that they could, get there.
I saw a social media post that said the greatest predictor of weather in Texas is Ted Cruz's flights.
Right. Or the rain probably grounded his flight, so he was trapped there. So now he's got this big sympathetic message.
Now the Republicans are in a place where either they have to be hypocrites about their own policy and declare a federal disaster and have federal aid in Texas, which is the empathetic situation that should happen. Like, that's the thing that should happen.
It's almost like they should completely reverse their policy.
Yeah. But now Trump is blaming the National Weather Service for not predicting the weather correctly when he fired all the people that predict the weather.
And especially the liaison between the federal warning system and the National Weather Service.
And once again, this is a failure at every level of government in Texas. It's a failure of the city governments for not passing laws to get the emergency weather systems online that they needed. It's the state government for not funding emergency management and weather prediction. And it's the federal government for just firing the people who predict the weather. A lot of this could be solved if Republicans felt like spending any kind of money on things besides the military and border enforcement, for things that actually matter to people.
What's the Department of the Interior been doing other than letting all of the rivers and causeways erode?
Or spending money on infrastructure. On infrastructure. For places that are flood prone or earthquake prone or fire prone. This is a failing of government at every level because of the Republicans' refusal to spend money on anything that we actually need.
We have actual concerns inside the country that need to be taken care of, and it's not brown people.
Yeah. It's making sure that people don't die because of flooding.
What are the biggest questions you have moving forward to keep your residents safe?
Well, I'm an older person, and I was born here, and I've seen many floods. And if the conditions are right, like this one was, they're devastating. But floods are common here, and people who are from here.
Look at the trees next to these guys.
That's rough. Like, those trees were completely uprooted.
Yeah. Like, the ground they were in is gone too.
Yeah. Have learned to be aware and to be vigilant. The problem, of course, July 4th weekend, we had a lot of visitors. And of course, we have the summer camps. I can guarantee you that my friend Jane Ragsdale at Heart of the Hills Camp for Girls.
I was a camper there many years ago.
My daughter was too. And Dick Eastland at Camp Mystic. They checked the weather too that night. I'm sure they did. They did everything.
CNN actually has some decent reporting getting people down there. And you can hear some of the harrowing tales. I don't want to play it too much on here because it was a lot for me.
Yeah.
And I needed to grab the baby and give her a nice hug and a kiss and just hold her a little bit tighter that night because it's horrible. Because while this water is flash flooding, it is pitch black.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the rain came in at like 1:30 in the morning. So then by 4 o'clock in the morning, it's still pitch black, but the water's up 18 feet. And these people had no idea. And I think it crested like 20 or 30 feet or something like that.
And The last thing I'll say on it is, if, like this mayor suggests, if you are in an area that is flood prone and you know that it's flood prone and it has been that way for however many years, why would your state and local governments not spend the money on preventative measures to warn people and to reduce the damage of flooding?
Like if things need to get rezoned so that people can't develop in floodplains, which is a lot of the time what they do because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Then then the zoning needs to be changed so that people can't live in these places, so that their whole lives can't be washed away.
Yeah.
That's insane. And
it's
completely
just
unnecessary.
It's just
in
like
2025.
it's just like in California, when they're, in Los Angeles, in the area around there, when they know that there are earthquakes, they have zoning and regulations to make buildings more earthquake resistant.
Right.
It's not foolproof. If the big one happens, it's gonna it's just gonna happen. But there's preventative measures, there's warning systems, there's all of that. Why do Republicans not understand that one of the functions of government is to help people with safety, is to help prevent people from dying because of floods or blizzards or firestorms or whatever?
Tornadoes.
That is the entire point of FEMA. And that is the entire point of having a national weather service, is so that you know when the hurricane's coming and you know where it's going to go. And FEMA's not going to be like, well, we don't really have a plan for that this year. We're just going to wing it. We'll see what happens.
I mean, they were warning us in January that they weren't ready for hurricane season, or February.
It is bewildering that Republicans refuse the basic functions of government.
So there you go, everyone. A bit of a sour note to end on. I'm going to do some research. I want some progressive groups to get out there and help clean up, and I want us to help. So I'm going to research into ways that we can do what we can with our little voice and our little show. See who we can reach out to, see if there's anything that they need from us. Probably not.
If I would say
distracted with some douchebags from up north who just want to talk to them, is probably not the best, but maybe we could promote some links and get some help for some people.
I would say if you're the member of any like a Lions Club or a Rotary or something like that, like in America, we have a lot of these civic organizations who do these kind of things. Even if you're not a member, reach out to like one of those organizations, because I'm sure that they'll be sending money to like local chapters in Texas.
Right.
I know that's what my Rotary did last time there was like the last thing that happened in Texas, that winter storm that came through.
Yeah, the blizzard.
We sent a bunch of money over there as like a state organization. We sent money down there.
Right.
So that's a way that you can help that's like outside of the government.
But yeah, it's been a day. Let's call it a day, Tim.
Let's call it a day.
We love you guys.
We'll see you tomorrow for gaming news.
Gaming, food
gaming and food.
Food and games.
Food and games.
As a palate cleanser. Palate cleanser Wednesdays. Hump day. Good night, y'all.
Bye.